been called a professional gypsy. In fact, I self-claim to be a professional gypsy. I have, as you mentioned, jumped 2-3 industries, different streams, different roles. I started off as with the civil aviation with an airline, Scandinavian Airlines, a European carrier. And then I moved to Singapore. I worked there with a island, a business resort. And I did, somewhat. I tried my hands on a business of my own. I did that for a year. Then, while doing all this, I was also doing my master's in human rights, and I finished that. I came back to Delhi, to India. My son was about 4 then, and that is the time my first novel came out, In Pursuit of Infidelity, which was published by Rupa. Now, I wasn't expecting, so I am a writer by chance, an accidental writer. I wasn't expecting the book to do so well that it put pressure on me to write another book, just to prove that the first one wasn't a fluke. And so I wrote a second one, and then I kept on writing, and now I have written 12 books so far. One of them, which is why I'm here today, is a book on single parenting. And I guess one of the delegates spoke about, asked about how to handle questions by children. And so this is a book for you, Surbhi. I think, Surbhi, you were asking how to, respond to questions that children pose and how they can further, kind of communicate the same, what they have absorbed from you. So this is a book, Going Solo, Raising Happy Kids. I wrote this last year. And this book has 50 single parents. Apart from me, 50 other single parents have contributed to this book. Their experiences, their stories, and the tools, parenting tools that they are applying. So it has different chapters, different sections dealing with your own self-care. Firstly, the single parent themselves, they undergo a lot of emotional upheaval. So how to handle that. And then how to go about parenting your child. What are the basic needs that you must be focusing on? Because 2-parent households have different needs and different challenges. Single parent households have completely unique and different challenges, and they have advantages also. So I've mentioned the advantages as well in the book. So this is very briefly about me. I'm a novelist and I'm a writer also. So I write fiction and I also write non-fiction. In my fiction, in the fiction genre, I write across genre, but I've written a lot of books under my pursuit title, which are all to do with relationships, all kinds of modern day relationships. And of course, the seed idea, the trigger has always been from the immediate environment around me. So, and that is why how the first book happened, and then the second and the third, all of them dealing with different aspects of modern day relationship. Now, coming to your question, how is relationship and romance seen in the current era, and how is it evolving? So this is my opinion of after having written so many books and whatever I see around me. What I personally have experienced and seen is that everything is changing from where we were as a society. When we just focused on the collective, now we have moved to something where everything is about the individual. So the society is turning into an individualistic society where the focus is on personal growth, personal aspirations, and dreams. So the social norms and rules are changing. Women with better exposure, with technology and better education have somehow realized, or perhaps have realized, that they have been shortchanged in the past in the name of tradition or culture, and they are much more than they were made to believe. Marriage was not be all and end all. That's what they were made to believe. They have choices, and they want to explore those choices. They want to experience those other choices. All these little things are impacting relationship, or how we are seeing a relationship, and especially a committed relationship, a serious relationship like marriage. So we have live-ins is common not only in the metros now, but also in smaller cities. Live-in has become quite common. Open relationships, you might have seen, some of you may have noticed also, that open relationships with subtypes are put up on the Facebook status, that I am in an open relationship or a complicated relationship, or you have subtypes there. There is something called, there's a concept called LAT, living apart together. Now this concept is very famous or very popular in Western Europe and Western London, where couples get married, but they prefer living in the same city in different houses. They only come together when they have special occasions or on holidays or things like that. So that kind of concept or idea was first popularized 5-6 years ago, and I took that idea and introduced in one of my books. Now this will slowly, the author says that this is a micro trend right now, will become a macro trend and will impact economies, because their needs and their their consumption way of consuming things will all be different than how other families consume, or other two parent family consume stuff. So these are some new kinds, new forms. Even for example, single parent families is now slowly, swiftly rising in India, and they are not even considered a family. You yourself mentioned, when from a family man I became a divorcee, but then you are still a family man. You do have two children. You are running a family, but your family structure is different than what is understood as the regular definition of a family. Similarly, we have co-parenting, where two people come together to raise a child but not necessarily committed to each other. They might be dating other people. So there are so many different, two gay couples raising a child together. These are all micro trends right now, but they are going to be macro, and marriage will exist, but it will take a secondary or maybe even a tertiary position.
That's great, Sujata, and good that you have given this initial background, which will set the mood for us to go forward. In fact, I think a couple of us have also come across this girl who married to herself. She did the
Yes.
entire rituals, and she was very proudly saying that I'm marrying myself. I
Yeah.
love my soul, my body, and I do not want any companionship and this. So I think what you're saying is right, that what is micro might become a macro, and individualistic approach is seen across the globe, and India is no way an exception. That's great. So let me come to Niyatii. Niyatii, you are somebody who has been actually looking at various aspects of relationship. And if you look at this modern dating scenario, right from probably our grandparents' days, in which the only way to meet somebody was in a group. So the brother will take the sister to probably meet somebody, or in a college break. So if you look at from our generation to today, in which we have an option of right swipe and left swipe, and dating has become more techno savvy. And people, as Sujata also rightly told, is fine with a word called casual and whatnot. So how do you see this dating, modern dating scenario evolving?
Uh, so in a way, we will call it evolving because it's changing from what it was in the past. But if we understand the core essence of a relationship wherein one human needs the other or wants the other for a certain reason, those reasons are becoming very, very small per person. So if I want a friend, if I want emotional companionship, I have a friend. If I want finance support, I have somebody else. If I want good sex, I want somebody else. And then it's just becoming a lot of people in my household, in a way, if I have to put it. And they're very okay with it. They now understand that one person may not be able to give me everything. So rather than investing ourselves to building ourselves in a certain way and to find a partner who matches us, it's now become, it's a place of instant gratification. And somewhere I do blame us as parents and us as how we were grown, like everything has to happen now. Everything has to be now. Everything has to, if I want something, it's just a few clicks away. So they are also watching us when they are growing up. So relationships have now become like, okay, and there is also a lot of peer pressure. There is a lot of, oh, nobody likes you, you're unlikable. Oh, you don't even have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or you've not slept with anybody, you're still a virgin. So there's a lot of shame now on the other side of the spectrum. So earlier it would be like, oh, you have a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and it was a taboo, and now it's the other way around. You don't have one. Of course, the percentage is small yet, but just as Sujata said, it's a micro problem today, it's going to blow up tomorrow. And for a fact, we are still talking about the youth probably in college and 18 years and above and stuff. Even a 10-year-old and 11-year-old in schools are already shaming each other for not having somebody they can tease with, or, it's already started. Girls are getting their periods earlier. The maturity is happening earlier. They are sexually developing earlier than what we developed. So everything is going sooner than expected. And as parents, because we were not there when we were at that age, we are still waiting for our children to grow up. So in today's times, the children don't have the adults who are ready when they are ready sexually, physically, emotionally, mentally. Intellectually, yes, the parents are, because they are only focusing on the academics. But all the other growth aspects, parents are not ready. So the reason for me also to go straightforward head on with sex education was, please, your children know much more than you think they know. You've given them the devices. They've not got it themselves. You've given them the devices. They are Googling everything. You say, I don't know, this is not your age to know, you are still young. Google doesn't say anything like that to them. So younger ones are way more open to different relationships, whether it's, now, while we're talking about relationships, they're also open to a lot of gender identities. One, to recognize themselves, and two, everybody else does not fall into the main spectrum, or I won't call it main, but the majority spectrum of how we identify ourselves as male and females. So everything in between is also accepted and explored, and so are the sexual orientation. So LGBTQAI+, all of it, they're absolutely aware about, they accept it, they explore it, and we are still wondering, how do I tell them about periods? So it is something that we really have to sit down and understand, that the older generation, they did not have gadgets. We probably met in colleges and schools and parties. Our parents didn't even see their spouses till they got married. So this generation is changing very rapidly. Earlier, the gap was 20 years. Now it's probably 7-8 years and the generation is changing. So I think as responsible adults, it's very important to keep our eyes open to see what the children are doing. Children as in, even if that child is 18 years old today. So to understand what they see the world as, have discussions, talk to them, and then somewhere accept it, somewhere help them understand. So this needs to happen. So the younger generation is far, far away from probably what we can even think of to accept.
So well said, Niyatii. In fact, I was just reminded of me using a dating app, and I saw a word known as FWB. And my son is a teenager, second year graduation. So I thought it's a code word, something like that. So I asked him, "Yaar, ye FWB kya hota hai?" So as you told, this generation is much more aware. He told friends with benefit. So for our generation, it took time to understand, how can I be a friend with benefit? Friend is friend. So usme benefit kya hai? So what you're saying is right. Probably this generation is much ready with this abbreviations. They're also ready with the in-depth meaning of this, rather than our generation, which will take time to digest and then understand what does it mean, and then orient ourselves. So what you're saying is right, and thanks a lot for bringing the aspect of sex. I have a daughter who is 9-year-old, and when we become single father, no. And the entire orientation is more of taking care of child and all. But I think for a female child, and as you rightly told, no, it is actually, we are supposed to be educated more about sex and pattern and the way body develops for a female as a parent, as a father, so that we are there at the right time whenever she needs. So absolutely right, what you're saying is right. And let me come to Priyanka. So Priyanka, as Niyatii was rightly saying, I am also blessed with 5 sisters, and I have seen our generation in which the boy's family will come to our home and our sister will be pressurized to wear a sari on that day, and she becomes a kind of a non-human being who is portrayed in a family who is coming to judge her from every aspect of how she can cook and what not. And dating was not that generation's cup of tea. Dating word itself was not existing that time. So the only question which will be asked to a girl is that, Parivar acha hai? घर है उनके पास, लड़का भी काम करता है, अभी तुम बताओ शादी कर लें. So that is the era I have born and brought up with. And today we are talking about dating in a very, very loud aspect. As Niyatii told, na, a female has a right to have 4 5 connections with respect to the benefit which she needs to seek. And it's her choice. So coming to dating, you have been in media for long. You have been awarded for your lot of work which you have done. You have also been a single parent. You had a, when I discussed with you, you had a comparatively better way to disconnect with your married life in a very mutual and matured manner, which many single might have parent might have not happened to experience that. And also you had a sad moment in which you lost your ex-husband, and you had to go through the fact of managing as a single mother to your own child and so on and so forth. And then your entire idea of launching an app, which is a dating app. So take us through this motive of why Priyanka Sehgal wanted to launch an app, knowing that you were already established doing rocking good work in media. So what was the motive for you to start a dating app, Spark?
So there are a couple of things that I'd like to say. One is that, for all those who are single parents here, before I answer this question that Vikram has just asked me, there are two aspects to yourselves. One is the fact that you are a parent and you have a child to take care of. But the other aspect is you are now a single human being. And you have to totally separate these two. So, and you have to be absolutely honest with the children because they do understand. Children are more resilient than we think they are. I used to worry about my son not being able to understand this or feeling that he came from a broken home. And that was, we have to bust those myths. We have to normalize something like this because at one point you are undergoing so much because of there's a marriage that falls apart. There is heartbreak. A partner that you have lost. And when all of us have gotten married, none of us have really thought that it's going to come to an end. For that matter, any relationship that you get into with a sense of permanency or stability or certainty, none of us have ever imagined that our lives would have fallen apart. Trust me, it's not easy. I've gone through my own share of anxiety and heartbreak, tears, and sleepless nights while I was married and even after I was divorced, and then bringing up a child. My child was really young, when I separated, and that too after years of trying to make something work. And while it was mutual, I had to give up everything. I never took any child support. There was no alimony. I was bringing up my child on my own. So I was working and bringing him up. Yes, the advantage was that I was in the media. So I think society was a little more forgiving in that sense, and because it was a very progressive medium, but again, one has to keep proving themselves, and more so for women, I think, who are, you're cooking, cleaning, looking after children, doing your work, dealing with bad managers at work, bad bosses, and colleagues who are constantly politicking and things like that. It's not easy. I think we have it tougher than a lot of men. But having said that, there are exceptions too. Men also don't have it easy. We think that they're not undergoing any emotions, but they do too. Heartbreak works for them too. In fact, there is a research that has that I was doing an Instagram live yesterday, and there's a research that says men benefit more from being married than women do, and their emotional health gets better because women are pretty much taking care of a lot of things. So there is really no set formula. And I remember we had spoken about this, that there is really no right or wrong way of parenting. But I would just say, go with your gut, be honest with your child, tell them where you are at this phase in life. And there is no point in hiding anything from them because they also prefer you being honest. And that is all that I have done with my child. I have been honest, and there are times, children are more perceptive. They understand, they grasp a lot. So even if you are worried or you're anxious about something and you're not telling them, they know. So there is no reason to hide anything from them. It's okay to tell them that, hey, things have not worked out between two adults, but that doesn't mean that both of them love you any less. You still have, now you have two families, you have more places to go to, more homes and things like that. Situation is different for everyone, I understand. But I would still say be honest with children, no matter what age they are at, because it's easier to deal with truth, than with a lie. and truth always has a way of finding its destination. So be as honest and as transparent as you can. It will help you in bringing up children. The next part is that when you are when I sort of separated or uncoupled, because I don't like the word divorce, it wasn't easy, but I had my work and I knew I had to bring up my child. So I dived into work. I was working 18, 20 hours a day. I was in the news business. So that kind of helped because there was breaking news, there was so much more. And at a larger scale, the world itself was undergoing a lot more tragedy in so many ways. So the effort was, how do we contribute to make people's lives better? So I did what I could. Um, I mean, I had a very successful life in the media, but there was a lot of sacrifice that went through. For years, I never had weekends off. I was working like crazy. I also had to deal with a lot of politics, and it wasn't easy. But the only thing that kept me going was that I liked my work, and that gave me immense satisfaction, irrespective of bad managers at work. And trust me, I've been through some really bad ones. And then, of course, my child and the support that I got from him was amazing, even to this day. So the journey grew when I got back into dating. I moved from Delhi to Mumbai, and I was in Mumbai for the longest time before I moved here to DC. It was never easy to get back into dating because I had never really dated. I had married young, divorced young. And then what happened was there was a lot of options because that's what dating apps do. That's what groups do, singles groups do. You have way too many options. And then it gets, because there is a breakup that has already happened, then it becomes difficult to trust your own choice of, hey, who is the right person for you? How do you know if this is not going to work out or not work out? For years I did not want any emotional involvement with anyone. I was only focusing on building a very secure friend circle, having friends. And then when I got into dating, I realized that it's not easy for me, it's not easy for the others. People carry baggage of their past relationships. They don't know how to let that away. They don't know how to become single again. And I didn't know that either. And then, how do you disassociate yourself from the parenting part and from being a single person who also has to look after their own selves? Because if you don't, then how are you going to help bring up a child who is sort of nurtured emotionally too? And emotional health is the most important thing. IQ is all right, but EQ is very important, to sort of move on in this world. So then I realized that people are afraid to ask for help. When they get back into dating, they don't know how to do this. They don't know how to have conversations. The slightest of slights, slightest of mistake that somebody makes on a first date, you meet someone for coffee, you don't like something they say, you will not go back and give them a second chance because you know that there is a dating app out there or many more dating apps that will give you many more options, and you don't invest time in one person. So a lot of these things happen, and I started studying in Columbia Business School, and I was discussing this with my batchmates, and they were singles, they were divorced people. And then I decided, like they teach you in the lean startup model in most business schools, that you have to go and do customer discovery. You have to go and meet people. If you're finding that there is a problem and you want to solve for it, you have to meet other people who are having similar problems to at least verify and research that there is a problem that needs solving, or is it just a problem that you are facing? So what I did was, and I have got a lot of flack for this because a lot of people did not understand this. You do customer research and discovery. So I onboarded myself on all dating apps that are there globally and in India. I went on more than 250 dates with people of different nationalities. And obviously, India was home. So, that came first. And what this was, when I mean dating, I mean going and meeting them on dates, not necessarily having relationships with everyone. When I met them on dates, and sometimes I had to change my gender orientation because people do not want to talk about that. That's a very hidden aspect, and it's unsafe for a lot of people given how the world is changing today. Uh, and then I realized that there were problems that I faced, and there were problems that others faced, which were a lot more than what I had gone through. People had guns to their heads, people were lied to, they were deceived, they were cheated financially. Even in India, there was a lot that was going on. A lot of these incidents are not reported, and a lot of them come out, sometimes. So then we started doing a lot more research, built Sparkles Dating, and then launched it. And we do have users from India. The whole premise of Sparkles Dating is that when you meet someone, you meet them under different circumstances, have different experiences with them. So you get to know them better, you discover them better, you spend that much time with them, and then take a decision about what you want. But to start off with, when you're on a dating app, you have to be very clear about what is it that you're looking for. And it can be anything. There are no judgments there. It can be anything. So on the app, we have something called moods, which is a sum total of what people want all over the globe. And so we say, tell us what you're looking for, the kind of partners you want, and the kind of experiences you want to go for. It's fairly easy. These are all preset. You just have to select it. And then we give you a compatibility score. So technology does help in that sense. We use AI, we use a lot of machine learning. Give you a compatibility score. We encourage you to go and have those experiences in public. So you meet people at a safe place. We are also organizing those experiences. And then we give a predictive score to tell them which way the relationship is likely to move, and then tips and help to steer it in that direction with experts, dating coaches, relationship experts, and the likes. And there's a lot more that we're building, a community that helps each other. In that regard, we've launched a Facebook group, which is just new. I was talking to Vikram about it. It's called Dating After Divorce in India. So Dating After Divorce India. So feel free to join that. It's invite only. I'll approve that. The other one is Sparkles Dating, which is global. But yes, you find all kinds of people. You will find all kinds of people on all platforms, but how you deal with them is really up to you. There is no way to say, hey, this dating app or that dating platform is not good. For that matter, even Shadi.com, I faced a lot of issues even there. So, how you use a platform is up to you. We help with all of that. I realized, and I built this because not just for myself, but for other singles, for people who are divorced, for people who've lost their partners, for single parents. So we're an all-inclusive app in that regard.
Great. Thank Priyanka. We also got a lot of query when they searched your rating app that it's only in iOS. So I'm sure you are in there. You are in your path of getting funded so that Android also has your app, and a lot of singles and single parents would like to jump into and see how it can help them curate and get into dating. That brings me to Raj. Hi Raj, hope I am audible to you.
Yeah, I can hear you very clearly.
Yeah, Raj. Yeah. So Raj, when I was discussing with you, and as Niyatii, Sujata, Priyanka, they all spoke about, see what happens with probably Priyanka, you can also name that as dating after uncoupled, because you mentioned that you do not like the word divorce. So we can think about. I think there is a series also of uncoupled. Some movie has come.
We can just call it. We can call it Sparkle Dating India, but again, we have to be very careful because Facebook really has no. And this is something that all of us, all dating app founders across the world, are fighting, including people at Tinder and Bumble, Hinge, and OkCupid. And other founders, other dating apps that have come up. We talk literally on a daily basis to see how we can make this more secure. So you might find all kinds of people, but let us know. We remove them immediately from apps, and we are figuring out more background checks in due course. So it will be a safer place.
Correct.
All online platforms.
And since divorce as a word is a part of agreement, divorce order, and what all we call it. So what we as a single engagement forum believe is that we are not afraid of the word divorce. The entire idea is we want to celebrate this rather than this society looking at divorce, separation from a different lens. We want to look at this as a from a very clean shade, and also very positively we want to look
Absolutely. At this. So when something like Raj has always told me, if something is coming to an end, there is always space for a new beginning. Yes, so and that is how we have to look at it.
So for that new beginning, Raj, people like us, or probably me, my generation, we don't know what to do when a girl says hi in a dating app. So the only thing which we do is that we also say hi.
Yeah.
And the reply comes so boring. So we don't know how to do dating, first of all. Forget about meeting somebody, even chatting we don't know. Yes. But you are somebody who has done a very strong curation of deep dating. So first of all, this deep dating, what is it? Please take us through this. What do you mean by deep dating, and how this dating and deep dating are two different things? And from your experience, also give us, as Priyanka was saying, some kind of tips because
Mhm.
as so-called second marriage and relationship,
Yeah,
there is a hiccup
yeah,
with respect to trusting people. So
sure.
give your
Yes,
own
yes.
light on dating, your own experience, and also what is this deep dating all about?
Okay, okay. So I think I'll have to maybe narrate a small story from where this began. So this happened where during that time I was actually friends with somebody who was from Europe, and we were like really, really good friends, and yet we had kind of, I would say, complicated attraction between us. Uh, and we said that okay, let's meet, and let's kind of just talk about how we feel and everything. And there is a and during the same time, it was like how life sometimes runs parallelly. So this is what is happening with me, and at the same time I am coaching a person who has been my coachee for a long time, and he said that I've been meeting people. He was actually at that point of time he had broken up, and it wasn't that he was married, but he had been somebody who had chosen not to marry. But he was between the age group of 35, 40. And he said that, I'm meeting a lot of people using this app. At that point of time, he was on Tinder. And he said that somehow, whenever I meet them, it's like in the first 5 or 10 minutes, I know that this is not going anywhere. Okay. And I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, well, most of the people that I've met, either I found them superficial or they found me superficial. And I said, but what did you do to take the conversation deep? To be very honest, that's how it started. Okay. What question did you ask this woman? Or what question did she ask you? And he said, to be very honest, I asked her about, what happened to your life. And, because she was also somebody who had undergone this. And I said, well, honestly, that doesn't sound deep. Okay. So he asked me, so what is deep? Uh, I said, well, I'm a coach, so working with questions is something which is my job. So I said, why didn't you ask her a question about, so what are the few things that truly drive you in your life? You know, and he said, well, I think we didn't even come to that. That's the thing that he asked. So I said, so what were you really waiting for? So he said, socially when you meet people, you have to always ask them some, safe questions and X and Y and Z. And I said, oh, okay. And that's the same time when I was going to meet my friend, uh, I began to think about that, hey, maybe today is the time where I want to ask a very different set of questions. And when I started asking them, which led to quite an interesting chemistry between us, and which led to a quite deep dialogue about what has happened in her life and what's happening with me. That is where I really felt that, hey, dating could go deeper just by one switch. And the switch is the questions that you ask. Okay? So most of the time I feel, and to answer the other question is, whenever somebody says hi, you also say hi. I always say that one should be prepared with questions. Okay. And there could be an interesting set of questions that you could ask, because I feel each person um, is like is I would say it's like a treasure. But what facet of treasure you are interested in is fully dependent on the kind of questions you are going to ask. Okay. So if you're going to ask the person a question about, oh, so what were you doing in your job? And tell me more about that and all of that. And after some time, the person is like, no, why does he want to know about my job? Okay. And normally people do this. People ask superficial questions when they're afraid and they're scared. Okay. And that's the reason why I say that a very small flip that I'd also given to some of my friends, like coaches' friends sometimes get this benefit. So there's a very simple question that you could ask. Okay? This question is, so do you want this to be just another date or do you want this to be a deep date? Okay. It's like that switches, it kind of keeps the switch on and then the person can really see that, no, I just want it to be, on the surface and all of that. Okay, great. And if the person said, no, I really want it to be a deep date, you kind of found something which can really work. Okay? Now you suddenly know the person is interested. The second and the most important aspect of deep dating is authenticity. You know, and also checking in with the other if the other is also willing to take your authenticity. Like I've had also people who said that, yeah, I asked a question and I actually got an answer which lasted for almost 45 minutes and which I did not know how to deal with. Sometimes that happens. Somebody's just waiting for a certain question. And the moment you ask that, it's like, whoa, and then the whole story comes. Okay. So I can't say it's like a short thing, but this one small thing, if you begin to ask on your dates, that do you really want it to be just another date, or do you really think that you want to go on a deep date? Okay? And if the person says yes, shift your question. So if the person says no, you know what to do.
Wow, that's
So
great,
I think
Raj.
that's what I would say.
So we know where to go when we go for a next date and whom to approach for the right kind of questions. But it is
Okay.
so when you were explaining, no, I was thinking about one very good connect of ours.
Mhm.
So this is a second marriage couple.
Mhm.
The men, for the men it was a third marriage, and for the woman it
Mhm.
is the second marriage, and they married 1 year back. And I was just, since we had a group of this so-called single parents and all, so I was just asking what made you as a female, go for this man,
Mhm.
and क्या ऐसा क्या हुआ जो तुमने अभी सही बोला कि ना, what question
Mhm.
you ask him. So she told, actually both her daughters are teenagers, they are studying in Canada. So she told that, no, my father was also trying to find a match for typical Indian father, so teenage girls, so be somebody for you, life partner, blah blah. So her father was also searching a man. So he had two of them. One was this who connected with her and second man was the one which father has found for her. So she told, I have just sent one pic to both of them. This small video pic was a pic of a ocean in which the waves are coming, very big waves. And she only asked both the men, what is your reaction to this? So the man who was been found by her father for trying and see if they can get married, he replied, oh my God, it's so dangerous, such a danger wave and all this, blah, blah. बहुत negativity था उस 5 sentence में. So she told, through that sentence, I realized already life में बहुत हो गया है. ये ऐसा mindset नहीं चलेगा. जिसके साथ उसकी अभी शादी हुई, he replied, wow, yaar, give me a surfing pad and I just want to go and surf. So see that one answer made her believe that I want to have a coffee with him. And today they are happily married. Before their marriage, this person actually got his cancer back, but they stick to the decision. Today they are happily second, third marriage. In the sense, for a man it was third marriage, for female it was second marriage. All the 3 kids are living with them very, very happily. And he is a very strong cancer warrior. So what I'm trying to tell you, and what probably I'm picking from you, is that the way we are supposed to ask questions, and also the way we are supposed to answer, might also help in converting our date into a deep date. So thanks a lot, Raj. And also, just for the panelists to understand, we do have rehearsed something, but I might skip 1 or 2 rounds, depends upon whether your answer has already covered the second round questions or not. So please allow me to do that. So coming to Sujata, you, when we were discussing with you, you rightly mentioned, and probably I also can completely probably sense when you mentioned about the fact that in our parents' time, marriage was a very big institution. You are a particular age, the only thing to do, the right thing to do for you is get married. You are a boy or a girl. So that was the so-called biggest institution in India. And then probably when I went through divorce, or Priyanka or our generation, the word divorce was a very, very negative kind of institution. They feel, oh, already 10 years, 15 years marriage, no need to take divorce. Continue, already you have lived the half life and complete the remaining half, and so on and so forth. But your research very clearly says that how marriage itself as an institution is becoming a minority institution. And as you have rightly told in the initial opening remark, that the relationships are evolving in a big way. And young generation and even the mid-age generations want to figure it out whether they are in the right relationship or not, be it arranged or a love marriage. So give us your view on how marriage is becoming a minority institution.
Thank you, Vikram. Before I respond to that question, I want to thank all three of my co-speakers here. Really enriching inputs coming in from all of you. Thank you very, very much. I'm glad, Vikram, that I'm a part of this and I get to take away some really good points, especially this deep dating. Raj, I totally agree there with you. I think that the questions that we ask, especially that 1 minute, that first 1 to 5 minutes is crucial, absolutely crucial, whether you will connect or disconnect. So thank you very much for that. And Priyanka and Niyatii as well. Thank you very much. I was paying attention to what all you were sharing, Priyanka. I'm really inspired by the way you have gone about and done this whole thing, and have approached your own life as well as a kind of a blessing for so many singles and single parents out there. So thank you very much. Now coming to your question, Vikram. Sorry, I missed that.
How marriage as an institution is becoming minority.
Yeah. So coming to that.
And separation and divorce and these things are slowly increasing in terms of the rate and the way people are looking at relationships. So marriage is becoming a minority institution.
True. I agree with you there, Vikram, that marriage soon, if not now, but that is where we are heading. It will soon become a minority institution, and there are many reasons for that. It's a serious institution, and it is completely away from when we say that we are in love. Earlier, what used to happen, acha dono ki, both two people have fallen in love, so the next stage is let's get married, or two families decide so that they have to achieve the next milestone, get married. Now that is completely changing. That whole idea is changing because marriage as an institution is a serious institution. It requires tremendous hard work from both sides. It requires that attitude of giving it that full focus, that full attention from both the partners. They have to be responsive towards each other and equally. Now that has also come into play with women, better education and everything. They have started asserting themselves. They had no choices earlier. There was no question of a choice earlier. Whatever the family has decided, you get married, you fulfill the husband's needs and their family, whatever they ask for, you adjust according to that. But now the women suddenly realize, Indian women have suddenly come out and has realized that there is so much out there for them to do. And so they are asserting themselves. All these things are impacting the way people are looking at marriage. Mainly, there were three reasons why people got married. Either to have healthy progeny or, experience parenthood, or economic stability, or physical intimacy. Now, there are different ways available for men and women both to fulfill these needs. So then what's the use of marriage? What is marriage giving us? That is the question everybody is asking, women especially. Even men, they are asking, they are afraid of, of a marriage breaking. They don't want to take all that responsibility, that especially the financial part of it. They are not ready to give away. Say, supposing the relationship doesn't work, then what happens? If the woman is not working, then the entire financial, this thing falls on the man. The woman, on the other hand, wants to explore her freedom. She doesn't want to give in so easily. So both sides, they become very wary. Somewhere down the line, they have realized that it is better to go in for a live-in or to have an open relationship or a different kind of other relationship than straight away jumping into a marriage. And that is why marriage will exist. There will be people who will get married still, but it will become, there are other forms of relationship that we mention, all of us been mentioning, that will be preferred more, that will take over.
Very true, Sujata. And we all agree with you the way society and relationship is evolving. Let me quickly invite a few of the delegates to see whether it's helping them or not. Hi, Ghazal. Ghazal has just now joined. So hi, Ghazal. And also very quickly, Amrita, how are you?
Hi, sir. I'm great. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
First class. Which city you have joined? Mumbai?
Yes. So I've been a part of this since the past 40 minutes, and definitely it is very helpful and
Yeah,
eye-opening. So I am Gen Y, right?
yeah.
I can relate to a lot of stuff here.
So you
Yeah.
are the generation,
So
our generation is not been able to
millennial.
understand, and now we have lost the hope also that we can understand. But still, is it helping you since you are Gen Y and we don't know whether we are Gen A or B? But is it helping you, Amrita, to
Yes, it
digest
is.
and
It is. It is. Yes,
thank
yes, absolutely. I mean, digesting this is just not an issue at all. In fact, I'm just trying to learn new things and trying to see these inspiring women out here who are, single mothers or in. I mean, of course, I am married. I'm happily married, but then it's always good to have knowledge about different things. You never know what life throws at you in the
thanks.
future. So,
Thanks for
yeah,
appreciating the discussion, Amrita. Thank you so very much. Hi, Prachi.
yeah.
Prachi, you are able to hear us?
Yes,
Hello,
yes,
Prachi.
yes, I'm here. And I
Since
think,
you are the youngest, if I'm not wrong, in the current meet, and you are doing your post graduation now.
yes, sir, yes. Yes,
So,
I'm
so
doing
hope
my post
hope
graduation
hope
in
it's working
MBA
for
right
you.
now.
MBA you are doing. So hope this is
Yes,
working for you. You are able to uh, make a sense of what you're
yes, sir, yes, sir, I can connect to it because
doing.
I'm like, it's very new to me because I've been in studying
Mhm.
the whole time and dating and everything is new for me. And that's why it's very good to know the things that I
Good,
don't
good.
know. And I'm really looking
Thank you,
forward
Prachi,
to
for
learning.
positive
Thank
feedback.
you.
This is just to check the acceptance, and I purposefully picked Amrita. She is a married, happily married woman, and also Prachi, who is in the student stage, and others are actually single parents, so they can connect with all of us. But I thought, let me pick up few who are actually, odd man out kind of, and good to get this response from both Amrita and Prachi. So let's come to Priyanka. So Priyanka, we have this generation, as Raj told, we don't know how to say hi and how to date and what to say and what not to say. And if somebody asks, we talk for 35 minutes, the entire date is gone for a toss. Now tell us your entire ideation of curated matchmaking, because I think more than a unmarried boy or a girl or a man or a woman, for people looking for a second or third marriage, they need more curation because they have so many things which is absolutely no or absolutely yes in relationship or in that particular person, that people like you who have technology and AI in place can help in curating the matchmaking for this kind of people, and also dating coaching advice which you and your sparking experts do. So tell us about this curated matchmaking, and also tell us about the dating coaching advice.
So we are bringing curated matchmaking. This is the first time that we are now talking about it here on this platform, and it will be open to India very soon. So it will be on our website called sparklesdating.com. We are a relationship ecosystem. So we're not just dating. There is dating, there is matchmaking, there is compatibility and predictive scores. There's dating coaching, relationship advice, simple things like Raj said. How do you talk to people? How do you relate? The word relate is more important even when it comes to dating. And this is applicable to everyone, whether you've been married once or twice, or whether you've been in a relationship and you're single, it applies to everyone. So, and then there are those experiences that are going to be available at discounted prices on the app, which you can go for. So we know that you're going there, you're meeting these people, you're coming back and telling us, you're talking to the technology that works for you. That's one part. And then there are humans who are helping you, experts and relationship coaches. And then there is a community of other singles that will also be helping you through this. So what is curated matchmaking? It's basically somebody who, we understand that a lot of people do not have the patience, or they also get a little sort of, they have bad experiences on dating apps, because online dating, honestly, anyone can make an account from anywhere. But there are certain alarms that should, red flags that you have to keep in mind when you're interacting, be it any gender, and so all of those things, keeping all of those things in mind, we are bringing curated matchmaking for those people who do not want to keep swiping. And therefore, we don't call it swiping on sparkles. We call it sparkling. So we say keep sparkling. We don't say
Okay.
swiping. Swiping has a negative connotation. So yeah, we're attempting to change everything little by little, but everything on Sparkles is all about bringing a change in the dating and relationship ecosystem. So curated matchmaking will be, how does it work? Is basically you send us your on the website, there will be a form, you will fill in those details, the technology takes it up, and then it matches you with the people who want the same things as you, depending on the information that you have input on that form. And then of course we guide you. If you want additional guidance, we are there. So this is for those people who do not want to be on dating apps, who are tired, but who are looking for something serious. See, on dating apps, what happens is you'll find all kinds of people. You'll find people who want casual relationships. You want people who are looking for a long-term relationship, and that doesn't necessarily mean marriage. And I will not say that. I mean, I have huge respect for the institution of marriage, but like Sujata says, it requires a lot of work, and it requires a lot of work on yourself, not on the other person. So, what happens when marriages go sour, or even a relationship that breaks up, is that we are blaming the other person. But none of us are really taking the time to do that work on ourselves. What is it that I have done wrong? If this person has behaved this way, what can I do here? And look, there are all kinds of people, right? But you always have to come from a place of, I think, love and compassion towards the other person, because the moment you start doing that and you put that energy out, I think that changes. The other person also reciprocates. There are exceptions. And I will continue to say this, that there are exceptions. There are people who will be not what you thought they are, and then you deal with them accordingly, right? It's not always about being soft on people and giving in. It's about standing your ground. So curated matchmaking is a little more clearer, where you do not want to sift through, hundreds and thousands of profiles, but you want someone else to understand what you're looking for and to help you get there with all the advice, with all the tools that you need. So yeah, so we are bringing that to India very soon. It should be up on our website. I'll be announcing it on our
Fantastic.
social media
Fantastic.
handles. So yeah, it will be there.
In fact, historically also, if you look at Priyanka, in our society, Indian society, mama ka, bua ka, ladka bhi ढूंढ के आपको बताया जाएगा. So already some kind of curation used to happen. But if technology can help, probably it will become more clearer, and it's not second person. It's not father talking about his daughter. So daughter
Yes.
talking about
So
him
even
herself. So probably in your
that's right.
technology can enable probably possibility of not wasting the time.
Absolutely. And the thing is that whether it's curated matchmaking or it's dating, everyone still has to do the work, and you still have to relate.
Right.
It's never about, hey, I've met this person, let me jump into marriage, or let me jump into something, because
Absolutely.
that is not good for your own emotional health too. You have to take that time in getting to know the person. Like Raj says, some people know. Some people actually, he was talking about a case study where this person has met, he meets people and they know that, okay, in the first 10-15 minutes, I used to say the same thing. When I meet people, I know in the first 30 seconds to 5 minutes what I want with them. But at the end of the day, you don't always want a romantic situation with everyone. Some people will turn out to be friends. Some people will, you can't really expect everything from one person. So for a romantic relationship, yes, you'll want someone. But for a friendship,
Absolutely.
you might want someone. You always need your friends. You need different genders to be your friends. You need a little bit of every person in your life. So we help with that, but even when it
Absolutely.
comes to curated matchmaking, so when you say, hey, we want to get married, but there are certain steps that you need to take. So because the onus of choosing right is on you. And there are
Correct.
consequences to every decision you make, whether it's a casual relationship or a long-term relationship. So be ready for those consequences and work towards it. So curated matchmaking is just about, hey, don't meet so many people if you don't want to. You don't want to go through the grind. Here are the select few people who technology will say, yes, okay, these, let's match these people. Let them still go through that process and understand whether it's
Absolutely
working for
right.
them or not.
So we all will wait for your curated matchmaking and coaching advice on dating to be enabled in Sparkles, and we'll try to use it. Also, Ghazal has typed in the chat box, it takes a lot of courage to say and do that within. Thanks, Ghazal, for appreciating our speakers' forthcomingness of sharing what they feel is absolutely right and a lot of their life learning stories. And also we have a hands up from Ketika. Ketika, you wanted to say something before I go to Raj.
Yes, I wanted to just say, first of all, thank you for the inputs, especially what Priyanka and Raj said I wanted to add to this that out of curiosity, I ended up going on different dating sites and wanted to find out how it is and how it works. So it's okay. I just wanted to share that it's okay if you do not end up dating and getting in a relationship, because I met a couple of men on Tinder, and now we have become great friends. And we
Fantastic.
meet along with our kids.
Wow.
So that we plan. They are single parents, so they sometimes have their children over weekends. So we plan, and the kids are getting along together, and kids are
Fantastic.
getting to see a different side of single parenting. That it's okay that our single parents can also have friends, and real good
Absolutely.
friends where they can talk to each other and they can depend on each other.
Absolutely right.
So this
Absolutely
is
right.
something. And second thing, I think I wanted to just share, and I don't know, it's something that I learned from my divorce, was that I will not, and it is something I decided, that I will not give the power to make anyone happy. That power I want to keep it
Wow.
with
Very
myself.
good. Fantastic. Well said. Well said,
This
Kitty.
is something that it has to stay with me. So relationships
Yes.
have their
Yes.
ups and downs, but even then, I and only I am responsible for making myself happy and keeping myself happy.
Fantastic.
Because
Very
beyond
well.
40, frankly, no one is looking to take care of anyone.
Absolutely.
Everyone
Absolutely right.
wants to have a partner, but definitely not someone to take care of, emotional, financial, nothing. They want independent partners to be.
So
So
well.
this,
So
I
well
think,
said.
is definitely helps. I wanted to just share, really.
Thank you. Thank you, Ketika. It makes sense. I think you are
Yes,
also echoing a lot of us who have reached a
yes,
stage in which we
exactly.
realize that a lot of parents might actually go, for example, our parents will say, no, we have not lived our life because we were upbringing you. And our generation is to wonder, what was the task in upbringing me? Because I have never asked for something more from you. You did because you wanted to do it. So very well said, Ketika. That we should be very conscious about the fact that our happiness lies with us and it's not with any other person. We are also getting a praise from others on your thoughts. I think
Thank
Shubhra has given 6 claps to
you.
you
Thank you,
in
Shubhra.
the emoji. And
Yes,
Amrita mentioned great point, Kitika. You are
thank
responsible
you.
for your own happiness.
Yes.
So
And
also,
also,
yeah.
Vikram, before you go, I have just a small point, but this is something that I often end up talking about is do not try to be as a single parent, please do not try to be the mother and father to your child.
Agree.
Either be the mother or the father. Whoever is not
Absolutely.
missing, you don't need to be. So, this
Wow.
entire thing of wishing single parents as on Happy Father's Day, Happy Mother's Day, I just don't agree to this. So if
Agree.
not, just be the parent that you can be.
I
This is something.
remember you
Absolutely.
also, yeah, you also commented in that post, and you are right in saying so, that you can be who
Yes,
you are and you cannot become,
yes,
if men are from Mars and women are from Venus, don't try to become both the planet. Be who
exactly.
you are and kind of do that
Kind
duty
of.
very well. And be an
Yes,
Exactly.
inspiring mother or inspiring father. That itself
exactly.
is more than enough for your children.
True.
I would
We have
like
a
to
comment
say
from,
something,
yeah, yeah,
Vikram. I would like
Priyanka.
to say something here. Kritika, I
Yes.
think I really admire your thoughts on this one. And
Thank
this is something I've been saying to everyone I know, that if you're a
you.
single parent, you're a mother or a father, please do not attempt to be both, because a child has a biological parent, a mother or a
Yes.
father. And if they've lost, like in my case, much after my divorce, years, almost 10, 11 years after my divorce is when my son's father passed away due to cancer. But at no point today also, if anyone says, Happy Father's Day to me, I'm like, I've always been his mother. I cannot be his father. And it is all
Well,
right if children grow up without one parent. It is really all right,
absolutely
you
Yes.
right.
know.
Absolutely right.
Yes.
Priyanka, you
Yeah,
have to
but do
be,
not attempt to be both. Don't need to take that pressure.
Yes.
Priyanka, you have to be ready with one question which has come from Shubhra in the chat. Positive way of using dating apps for kids. तो शुभ्रा को अपने बच्चे के बारे में पूछना है आपसे कि डेट पॉजिटिव वेज ऑफ यूजिंग डेटिंग ऐप. सो शुभ्रा, Priyanka will answer this question after a while. I will just take one more from Raj and Niyati's views on this particular discussion which we are having in this round. So Raj, we have come to a conclusion, kind of, not conclusion, but in a particular discussion point in which Priyanka is rightly saying, and as Niyati and Sujata is saying, if relationships are evolving so much, we need a coach. And you are somebody who has been a life coach, not only in the area of marriages and relationship, but also various aspects of corporate leadership and top management, various industries, and one of the top-notch multinationals. So tell us about the role of a coach, mentor, which can help in today's evolving modern day relationship who comes from dating. Because what happens with a lot of age group, in one of the posts of young people like Amrita's generation, I found that girls after breakup, eat sweets, listen to music, hang out with the girls, do spa, and lead forward. Then I heard that men or boy, after breakup, they cry, then they smoke, then they drink, again they cry, they don't know what to go. So in this kind of, I'm just giving an analogy of something which Amrita's age group posted in one of the Facebook posts, but definitely probably looks like there is a need for a coach and a mentor. So tell us the role of a coach and a mentor which can be helpful to deal with this evolving hookup dating relationships. And you are somebody who has been doing this effectively for many age groups.
Yeah. So I would say it's something. So maybe I can always give an example, and I think that's something which can help. So I feel that most of the time when we are whether we have never dated or we have been in a marriage or relationship, it is broken and then we are starting. I feel it's always a good idea to distinguish between what kind of a partner you're really looking for. If it's about the long-term dating, or it's also about what kind of a person or what are the kind of things that you want to experience. Like one other thing I think I heard Niyatii shared or Priyanka shared, I don't remember who shared, but it's like it's okay for whatever purpose you're going towards dating as for or going to dates for. Okay, the role of the coach is to simply identify that does this person really know. So as a coach, what question that I ask this person is: are you looking for flutters? Are you looking for something which will just swoon you? And are you looking for something like the first look and the person has to look good and he has to have like a perfect abs and good arms and all of that, and you want to look at a girl who's like a perfect depiction of maybe goddess Eros and things like that. Is that what you're really looking for, or are you looking for something specific? Also, another thing that a coach can always do, and at least I do, is I always ask them, learn to distinguish between your past relating habits to the new person that you're going to. Okay? And this is where I think coach can do an extremely important job. Most of the time, when people are dating after a few experiences, okay, or let's say after a certain relationship, we are unconsciously looking for a certain traits that we were comfortable with the other person. And this is where I think if the person does a session with the coach and the coach kind of say that, hey, is this what you really want? Or are you open to something new? I think that's another place where the coach can really, really contribute. The third and the specific way in which the coach will contribute is when the coach begins to really ask a question if the person has started dating something. Like I had a person, who was not into dating, and he started dating this one person. And he said, I think she's the one after 2 dates. Okay. And I'm like, okay, what is it? So he says that, well, when we actually met next time, she got me something which I said that I really like. I said, what did she get you? He said, I just made a comment that, I really like to eat this one particular kind of burfi from so-and-so kind of a place. And she actually went there and she got it for me. And this friend of mine is a deep foodie. So for him, it was like, oh, if this person is foodie, then, and I'm like, I don't think that's a right pointer to base your, future of the relationship. Yeah, and, sometimes we get these gut feels.
Correct.
Okay, so it's also the person is also confused. So I sometimes find that sometimes I do like a small summary call. Like somebody's gone on a date and then they call me. So let's say they have had a great time, maybe they have stayed over, whatever it is. The next day I say, do a quick summary call. Okay. And where I ask them a few questions. Okay, what are the few things that really went right on the date? Have you noticed some kind of a red flags? Okay. Because this is something the person will never ask himself.
Correct.
This only a coach would do. A person kind of can tend to get lost. And I've seen in this process sometimes people getting further hurt. And just out of innocence, sometimes they really don't know. And the second outcome I've seen is when they are not supported, they could also shut off. And I feel that's a bigger risk. And hence, when you have a coach in the background, it kind of helps you.
Correct.
It kind of helps you know that, oh, I can validate what I find either with my coach or, maybe there is something that the coach identifies and asks. However, here I would also say, as a coach, one has to be very, very careful that one is not projecting one's own criteria.
Mhm.
This is
Very-
very important, because sometimes as a coach, something works for me, and very unconsciously I begin to say, hey, you should look for this. So I guess, but that's again the destiny of each person, what kind of
Absolutely
coach they
right.
find and all of that. But I
Absolutely
think
right.
that's what I could say in a nutshell.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you. So,
Yes.
Niyati, take us through what is red flag, what is green flag, and how much of self-confidence is important for dating. Because ultimately, I think all of us, anybody who goes for a date, we definitely want to see a person who is at least confident about what he or she is speaking about. And other aspect might come later. For example, Raj has rightly told somebody might get carried away because she brought the right kind of sweet which I wanted and this and that. But take us through this terminology. A lot of us are not aware about what is red flag, what is green flag, and what is the role of self-confidence in dating. So how to premeditate and prepare and not take dating very casually. And so please
Yeah.
take us through this.
I'm glad you asked me this question, because since all of us were talking, since Raj started talking about deep conversations and deep dating, I remember the book I had read, Models. Raj would know what I'm talking about. Models. So there's a book on models which speaks on how men should date particularly. And the 2 points that Raj mentioned were there. One is authenticity and one is confidence, I think, or the way you question. So one, Vikram, so you have 2 questions in the sentence you gave me. One is what is the red flag and green flags or whatever you call it. And another question is how do we portray or how do we see confidence, right? So one, I'll talk about the confidence first. We all want somebody who is attracting, like, who we get attracted to, and confidence plays a huge role. The charm, the confidence, the charm also comes because you're confident about yourself. So the seed that you need to put in, like any person who wants to go on dating, is to know themselves first, right? What do I like? What kind of people do I like? So this is a very common humorous question we ask when we are doing couple workshops or intimacy workshops. So we ask them, like, who is your favorite actor? Okay, so the favorite actor may be somebody like John Abraham or Salman Khan or Hrithik Roshan because he dances in a certain way. And then we say, now look at your partner. So there's a lot of humor there where we laugh it out, because who are we sexually aroused to or physically aroused, attracted to, versus all the practical decisions we took to get somebody, to marry somebody. They're 2 different things. But now, unfortunately, who we marry are the only ones we can have a sexual relationship with. Now, dating also, as Raj was saying, you need to know what you're going for. Even Priyanka mentioned, do you want friendships? Do you want somebody who you just kind of, flirts with you? Do you want somebody who you just want to sleep with? Do you want somebody who you want to have conversations with? So till you don't know why you are there, how are you ever going to be able to portray that confidence that the other person also should feel attracted to? So you are going and examining somebody, but is that person not looking back at you? Of course they are. So knowing oneself is extremely important. Now, knowing oneself also means the likes, the dislikes, what I'm attracted to, what kind of a personality I am. So if I'm an introvert, I will be drawn to an extrovert most probably because they have something that I don't, right? But at the same time, am I going to be okay for a long time if this person is going to have this personality? Like, what if they'll start pulling me into parties and I'll have to be out there with them and they are loud and they are happy and there's just so much of energy. What if I can't take it? So this understanding oneself is extremely important. Now, understanding the happy self is one thing. Understanding all the wounds and the hurts and the traumas and the blockages you've had in your life are equally important. So even if you are going to date, I would say have coaches like Raj or all of us who are here helping you out to speak first. What is it that I want? What is it that will work for me? What kind of a person am I looking for? What kind of a relationship I'm looking for? So just like Priyanka went on 250 dates, Priyanka, I have signed up myself on Bumble for the same research purpose. I haven't started going out on dates particularly. I've met 2-3 people in person. Most of them said, if you have a questionnaire, we're happy to fill it. And I have like an elaborate questionnaire for them. So most of them fill that. Most of them come on Zoom and talk to us. So what we realized also two things. One, the profile they write is something that they have to make it very attractive. So people will kind of read that and say, okay, I want to, kind of meet this person. Very interestingly, I saw the MBTI results being posted there. I am an ISJF and all the 4 letters that come in there. And it intrigued me. And I was like, how many women really know about these tests and know what it means? And even if they know about the test, how many remember what this personality means? So we want to be larger than life on the dating app. So as I said, know your happy side, know your, I won't call it sad, but know the other side of you. So know your spectrum to begin with. Now, as Raj was saying, people usually start with hi, because we are not taught how to make conversations. So if you don't say hi, and so when I started on this dating app, I was obviously not going to put hi and put people down and not wanting to interact with me. So my messages would go like, how's Monday treating you? Was the week happy with you? Or something like that, which kind of like the person will take a second to think, what does this question even mean? Like, how do I answer this? This is so interesting. So it's okay to do some homework, because if not everything is going to come from within. So do some homework, look for opening lines, look for cheesy lines if that's the kind of a person you are. Be open and be okay to have a little bit of flirtatious conversation, because that's what dating is also about. So if you're going to say just hi, hello, what did you do today? What did you do tomorrow? After 2 days, you won't have anything new to say. So that is how you also build your confidence. Do your homework, study a little. So that's about building confidence. Now your second part about red flag and green flags, simple. Something that upsets you, you don't like, all right? They all go under red flags. So if in my earlier, for this crowd especially, if my earlier relationship, if somebody was verbally abusive to me, all right, maybe while I'm dating that person may not be, because that time there's curiosity, there's attraction, people may sound different, but to observe people not only when they are with you, but in public, go out with them, how they treat the, your servers, how they treat the taxi guy. That is where you start seeing whether that is the personality you want to be with or no. It could be simple habits you don't like. It could be green flags, like I wanted somebody who can dance with me. And you find that, that person's dancing on Instagram and swirling other women, and you'll be like, yes, that's green flag for me. So everything that you've recognized about yourself and the person has it, it's all green flags. But things like they don't respect other people, they speak ill about women or men, the other way around also. When you start seeing that this is not something I would want in my partner, put that under red flags. I'm just giving a very quick right now.
Good.
This is how you can kind of
probably we all should actually write it down, because a lot of times this is actually in the head, but you do not know what is red flag for you, what is green flag. But when you were explaining, a lot of us were able to actually see, okay, this is something which excites, this is something which is new for me. So very well said. And also we have Ghazal who has raised the hand. Hi Ghazal, how are you? Ghazal?
I think she's been writing on the chat.
She wrote, and then she also raised the hand.
Yeah. Am I
yes, Ghazal, you are audible. How are you doing?
I'm good. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, Ghazal.
Okay. I think that has become a catchphrase now. You have to begin every webinar by asking, am I audible?
Yes. For a virtual meet, definitely yes, Ghazal. So
I have to say,
you have a very good name, first of all. The moment we see
Vikram.
Ghazal, we think of a lot of good things. So yes, please. What was your question?
That's also a very that's also a great line, I think, to start a conversation with
Impressed. I'm learning from my coaches. My coach is Raj, Niyatii, Sujata, and Priyanka. So
learning
I got
can never
point.
stop.
Niyatii, I got 1 point. So yes, Ghazal.
Awesome. In fact, I was just going to tell Ghazal, instead of saying, am I audible? Maybe it's a good homework to do today to ask it in a different manner. So the next webinar, you're going to ask a different question rather than saying, am I audible?
Yeah, let me think about that now, Niyatii. I want to say, really fantastic set of conversations.
Thanks.
Really amazing topic, which usually in India, people don't attempt. And I'm making a broad statement because in the last 10 years that I have been divorced, I've been doing a lot of work in creating safe communities for people who go through divorce and separation, including losing their contact with children, estrangement.
Hello, Ghazal. Niyati, can you hear her?
No, no.
Ghazal, we lost your voice. So we'll come back to you. Meanwhile, let me come to Priyanka. Priyanka, in our topic, we have written a word hookup. And you also helped me understand the spelling of hookups, because there is an apostrophe in the S. Then you told Vikram, this is not hookup. Hookup is UPS, goes together, because you are in that dating business, so you know how it is done. And also you spoke about casual relationship. Casual sounds very, and good to know from you. We have learned a lot of things from you, Priyanka, saying that no, swipe is not a good word, sparkle is a good word. You spoke about divorce is not a good word, uncoupled is a good word, and also this casual you do not like. So, and also, so throw some light on what is hookup, what is casual relationship, and physical intimacy, because a lot of us we are not aware of this word. So the moment that hookup comes in that conversation of dating or chatting, we have to first of all understand what is hookup before we respond to that the person. So take us through hookups, casual relationship, and physical intimacy. Your thought on this?
So I think these are topics which have usually been taboo for years and years in India, and we are now seeing that people are opening up in big cities, small towns, everywhere, and that is amazing. I think we have so much diversity and we've not realized that different parts of India, different people, different mindsets. We are literally like a combination of a lot of countries in one. So I think there is, there's one thing, and that is about leave all that judgment behind. That somebody wants a casual relationship, or somebody wants a hookup, or somebody wants a long-term relationship, or somebody wants to get married. It depends on what you want, and this is something that years ago, when I was going through a lot, I was talking to Raj, and this is something that he has always told me, that it's not about what they are wanting, it's about what you want from them. And if you're not getting it, then move on. There is somebody out there who will give you what you are looking for, and who will also be wanting the same things as you. So we've created this on the app, because what it does is, on all the other apps, is that there is no clarity about what people are really looking for. But what we have done is, it helps people live their truth. You have to own your story in so many ways. So this is the one thing that if you don't own up to, you will not be able to find what you're really looking for, and you will therefore continuously have these patterns of heartbreak. So it's about being honest about what you're looking for. So we have that on the app. We call it moods, because we want to make it a little fun, because dating itself is so heavy. It's very tough to find someone and then to keep them. That's even tougher. So, so we have these moods, and in those moods, what we've done is that when you like someone, so you select what you want. There are 8 options on the app. I've just put up a demo video, so you can watch it whenever. I've sent a link on the chat. You can watch it. It's on YouTube. Now, what it does is, out of those 8 modes, you select whatever you want. You're free to change it, because people change every single day. They want different things, and it can be something casual. It can be something formal. It can be nothing at all. It can be, hey, I'm going with the flow, or I'm in an open relationship, or I'm just looking to meet up for an activity, which means I'm looking to just make friends at the moment. Or we have other options also, saying meeting up for romance, or meeting up for a long-term relationship. Now, what happens is, this is not shown on your profile, because a lot of people fear being judged. So we've respected that. We are dignifying that, hey, be honest about what you want. Be as authentic as you can. Be as intentional as you can. Because intentional is what you need to be when you're out there looking to find some sort of fulfillment, whatever it may be for you, whatever it may mean for you. So when you say that, hey, I'm looking for, say, something casual, then what happens is that it will not show up on your profile. But depending on what selections you've made and whatever the other person has made, you see profiles, you see their pictures, you see their bio, you see their information, and you see a compatibility score on the top right corner. That will tell you, saying, hey, I'm 98% compatible with someone who wants something casual, or someone who wants a long-term relationship, or whatever it is. Now, when I'm looking at that, I'm not right swiping. I am then setting my expectations as to what I am looking for with this person. So there is something we've introduced, a right swipe for romance, a top swipe for friendship, and a bottom swipe for hookup. We have put that in because there are people who are only looking for physical intimacy or only looking to connect briefly or experience that, because a lot of people are deprived of that too. Being single parents or being single, you don't want to just go out there and get intimate with just about anyone. So we've kept that as an option, and then we've also got a reject option. Now, reject as in, move on to the next one. This one is not suitable for you, because reject, of course, is a negative connotation. So we've got those four swipes to set expectations, right? You will not match with someone if they're not wanting the same things with you. So that is very simple. That is to remove all the disappointments and heartbreak that come with dating. And so those are those four swipes. Now, when it comes to something casual, it's when I would look at it, I would say from all the research that I've had and from talking to people every single day, and I talk to people still every single day. I'm talking to singles and all kinds of singles. So when it means something casual, that means they are not ready to commit. They are not ready to want to get into something long term or something serious at this point in time, because maybe they are not themselves emotionally available, which is also all right. But that is straight up, right? When somebody is telling you that they are looking for a hookup, that means they ask them what kind of a hookup are they looking for? Are they looking for a physical fulfillment, emotional fulfillment? What is it? Or if it's a casual relationship, what is it? That means a casual relationship would mean they want to be open to meeting other people while they are in touch with you. So then you know what you want to do, whether you want to friend zone them, depending on what you want, right? Yeah.
So
And when
that's
it comes,
great. Tell
yeah.
me, continue.
No, sorry. Go ahead, Vikram.
So I was just trying to see, it actually makes the task of using the dating app much more clearer from both the end.
Yes. And also we have a choice
And
of the kind
hookup
of
and casual
partner.
relationship should not be taken negatively.
No, you can. The hookups would mean that, hey, you are hooking up to sort of just get physically intimate with someone.
So should
And
not be
it could
taken
be,
negatively by people who are using. They can straight
no,
away
there
say
is,
no. And
yes, absolutely. See, the thing is that people want, Sujata saying something.
Sujata, you're on mute. Just unmute yourself.
Yeah, so I agree with Priyanka how she puts it, categorizes this. And Vikram, to answer your point, I'm sorry, Priyanka, I just jumped in. I think that this whole idea of whether this is negative or positive does not come in. It is your choice. It is your personal choice. You want to go that way, please
Correct.
take that path. You don't want to take that path, don't judge others, or for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in a
There is
way,
no judgment. There is,
Yeah.
in a
and this
way,
is something.
based on her research, she's giving all the routes, in the sense she spoke
Yes.
about left, right, up, down. So there are multiple options rather than traditional dating apps which only talks about right or left. So based on her experience, she is giving more maneuver to the audience or to
Even
the
the traditional apps, as you call them, they also have this
started.
in their profiles. They clearly mention that I'm only looking for this. I'm a happily married man, and yet I'm looking for
Yes.
this.
Very good.
Yes.
No, you
So
have several
therefore, we've added that, which is why we've added this whole thing
added
about
that.
in an
Yeah.
open relationship.
Yes.
Because, hey,
Correct.
if you're in an open relationship, on a lot of apps, you may not want to say it. And sometimes men also say, they say, I'm in an open relationship, my wife knows. But let me tell you one thing. If you meet somebody on a dating app, you're not going to their partners to check, right? You cannot verify. So it is all right to be in a situation like that, as long as there is consent of both parties.
From the
Consent
both
is
side.
extremely important.
Very, very
It
well
should
said.
not, yes, it should not be that you're in a relationship and you realize that this
Correct.
person has lied to you. So therefore, we encourage them to be the most authentic version without the fear of judgment. And there
Absolutely.
is also an option of selecting the kind of partner you want. You want a single person, you want a married person, you want a divorced person, you want a person with kids, without kids. All of those
Fantastic.
options are there. So you select what you're looking for. But you
That's
have to
great.
be absolutely truthful and honest about what you're looking for. And Vikram, this is something you must ask Raj. He will tell you how to be the most authentic version of yourself and how to decide what you're really looking for and what you want.
I was coming to Raj because our one of the study says, Raj, the one of the study which we also did, and we had one of the close group discussion with the adults, including unmarried and divorcee separators we do. And this has actually been curated by a sex toy company which wanted to educate men and women about this, because there's a lot of curiosity in India, because it has actually came off late. There are people who are aware of it. There are people who are unaware. People want to explore. So this actually company wanted to educate. It was more about awareness. And therefore, I wanted you to throw some light on healthy sexuality. Because
Okay.
in India, if you look at, no, there are things which are very, very at a nascent stage. People want to
Mm,
explore, but they don't know what it is. And then there comes
true.
the measure of safety, security, and whatnot. So take us through your view on healthy sexuality.
Okay. Okay. So I think I want to take it, like dating it back to one of the first things that I read when I was researching something in the context of Shiva and Shakti and Tantra, and also in the Eros and the erotic and all of that. There was a beautiful statement which was written. He says, the connection between the man and the woman is like a play. And the way you have sex is the way you play with the other person plays with you. So if you now look at the context of play, I feel, and I will define healthy sexuality as, healthy sexuality is when you're comfortable with the way you play and you're playing with somebody with whom you enjoy playing. Okay. As long as you both have enjoyed this dance, you both have had a good time, I think that is the first thing. Now comes to the second part, and very, very important in another part of it, okay, which is little difficult in India. The second is, if I really want to play, I really want to be healthy. Okay. Many times in Indian dating scene, people don't really ask each other, like if at all they're getting serious about a hookup, and this is something which I want to recommend, is we don't really ask each other about an STD certificate. Let's say, when did you do your test last? Okay, so the second facet of healthy sexuality is learning to know what are your rights and learning to also know that you have a right to ask a question, okay, about certain thing that you are comfortable or uncomfortable with. So the second part of healthy sexuality is learning to know your rights and also learning to listen to other people's rights as to what do they want to be comfortable with. And the third and the most important aspect of it is it actually making you healthy? Because in the Indian scriptures, it was written from thousands of years that this is one of the most amazing activity that actually nourishes the whole body. Okay. Then came all the religious babble across different religions, Indian, including Indian and all of that, who put in all the devil stuff in it and who put in all the crazy stuff in it, and the play element went out.
Correct, correct.
And so I feel that these three facets are very, very essential to define. That A, is it making you feel good? B, are you able to really make the right decisions and ask the right questions about the healthiness, like pure healthiness?
Communication.
And third is, do you really enjoy it with this person or for yourself? And the last pointer I will say that if you truly want to approach sexuality from a healthy dimension, the first thing you want to look at is how do you feel when you're playing with yourself? Like masturbation is a very, very taboo topic in India. And I meet people, both men and women, the moment I ask them, do you play with yourself? What do you think about self-love? And the kind of looks I get, like she, like that, like, hey, why would I do that? And I feel, well, first get that right, then go out to play with others.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to do this right, I think you have something that you have to really look at. And this is where I feel work that Niyatii is doing in terms of educating people. Because I really saw some of her posts and I really, really, really appreciate the fact that it is necessary for somebody to say that, hey, this is something you know nothing about. Get educated.
Correct.
Just because you're 30, just because you were married once, just because you had sex, doesn't mean you know everything about it. Rather, I feel this is a wonderful time to educate yourself first.
Absolutely right, Raj.
So getting educated is another facet, I would say, to be healthy in sexuality.
Absolutely right, and good that you have brought this point. And so let me just carry it forward because of time paucity and come to Niyatii. So Niyatii, From healthy sexuality, can you throw some light from your experience of mentoring and also guiding a lot of people on sexual education? Is on sexual relationship, there are terms like sugar daddies, sugar babies, money involved, friends with benefit. I don't know, I only can gather this much, but there might be a lot of vocabulary which we are not aware of. Throw some light on this sexual relationship and these terms. What does it mean, first of all, in a layman language? And also one of the research which we conducted about adults, and as Raj rightly told, I'm talking about 35 plus, 80% of the males didn't know about orgasm in women. Now, this was a very, very sad situation. And also, as Raj is rightly saying, our society has to emerge to educating male more about what is female body and what happens to her. So your point on sexual relationship, sugar daddies, sugar babies, money involved, friends with benefit, and something on educating male, which you are already doing a lot of good job, but throw some light.
My forte is definitely with the parents and their children. But because I was educating the children and the parents, somewhere I realized that they are not comfortable with their own sexuality. And that becomes one of the biggest reasons why they can't educate their children. So it just became a byproduct that I started counseling the couples also, like, okay, this is how you go about it with your sexual life or your romantic life. And that's how you start now backtracking and start educating your children, because you became comfortable with your own self, with your own body. So healthy sexuality in layman's terms, I will say, be okay with your body, whether you have put on weight, you've lost weight, your skin is a little saggy, you have wrinkles, or you have patches, or you have pimples. Yes, you must be healthy, no doubt about it. But at the same time, be okay with yourself in that state for that point. Yes, if you're unwell, I am never going to say be okay with yourself. Be healthy, but then be okay with who you are particularly. Healthy sexuality also means accepting, if I have to put it that way, be acceptable in a way where nobody should tell you what you should be or how you should conduct yourself. You should know that you're respectable, and at the same time, be okay with who you are. So if I am somebody who would like to wear maybe off-shouldered or one-shouldered, and I would like to go to the market, I'm okay doing that. At the same time, if my child is going to wear something like that and go to school, somewhere I will teach her that school has a different focus. It has a different aura. It has a different, reason, purpose. So when you wear something like this there, what's going to happen and what's the occasion? And so understanding sexuality for yourself and then you as a person in the community is also equally important. I feel that way. This is my perception, that at the end of the day, we are people who want to be in a community, who want to live in a society. Somewhere respect should come. I am not saying that you do whatever you want. Who are they to tell you? That's some quotations are good for some aspects of life, not for all of it. Yes, you can wear the similar clothes whenever you go out in a place where it's acceptable. So also healthy sexuality for me, everything that Raj says, whether it's your health with the STIs, whether it's your consent to give and to receive. So that also is healthy sexuality. Vikram, if I really have to put it, sexuality is like a sky, and everything comes under it like clouds. Whether it's your
Absolutely.
body, whether it's consent, whether it's STIs, whether it's reproductive, whether it's pregnancy, everything comes under it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are healthy, mind, body, soul, you'll have a healthy sexuality. So it's difficult to answer this question very quickly on a platform like this. So healthy sexuality. Your next question was sugar daddies, sugar mommies, sugar babies, and friends with benefits. So they are all different terms for different settings. I'll use the word settings, all right? Sugar daddies, sugar mommies, and sugar babies, they are all paired to one another. It's either sugar daddy, sugar babies, or sugar mommies and sugar babies. Now, who is a sugar baby and a sugar daddy? There is a deal between two adults with consent that, okay, I will give you money, I will take care of you financially, and you will have to give back something to me. And usually it's sex. Usually it's sexual relationships. So money and sexual relationship sex, let me just put it as sex. They go hand in hand. So whenever one, so the one who receives the money is called the sugar baby. The one who provides the money is called the sugar daddy. All right. So the and sugar mommies are the other gender around, where the woman is paying and the man is kind of is there for the sex, like giving sex. Now, why people do that? Now, there could be multiple reasons. Most of the students are in this because of the money they receive. It's a quick money for them. Okay, all right. It's just something they're okay with sex. Their hormones are anyways raging high. They're absolutely either having fun also, depending on the person, enjoying all the luxuries which otherwise they wouldn't get, and getting some extra pocket money or money to do whatever they want. So that is something that we have found in the research. So these are sugar daddies, sugar babies, and sugar mommies. So there's money and there's sex and there's a deal. Is it good all the time? No, because there is a lot of abuse happening in the name of I am giving you money, so you give me whatever I want. The consent might not be in place. The sugar baby might be forced into doing a lot of activities which he or she may not be okay with. And people who are paying the money, so usually money is higher than anything else, right? So if I'm paying money, I got to get the goods I want. So that is where a lot of abuse, a lot of blackmailing, a lot of, you know, the other spectrum of the happiness that otherwise these people should get, they don't. And there's all these abusive behavior going on. So that's about the sugar world. Friends with benefits is as simple as I don't want to be emotionally attached to you. I just want to have sex. So what happens with sex is not just entering into one another and get ejaculating. That's not. Yes, it's called sex as per definition. But when you're having sex with somebody, there is a huge amount of energy that, you know, you people are connecting. Two people are connecting in a very bigger, broader way, other than just bodies coming together. What will happen is, most probably, one of the partners will start getting attached to the other, either emotionally or with insecurities, like, if you go away, where will I go? What if you are seeing somebody else, and what will I do? So all of that comes into friends with benefits. People don't understand that, okay, if this is going to continue, like, okay, one time we slept, two times we slept, get over and done with, don't see each other. So that is another aspect of friends with benefits, which they don't realize, and they fall into trouble with this one settlement that they've had. No emotion. You can't stop me. You can't talk to me about where am I going and who am I seeing and why did you not pick up my phone? Nothing. Meet, have sex, go back home. That's friends with benefits. Your fourth question, I forgot.
Money involved. I think you touched upon that. So I think by and large, you covered all the point. Thank you so very much, Niyatii. In fact, we are getting comments in the chat box. Ghazal is writing great POVs and session. Thanks to all the panelists. Prashant has wrote, I love the way conversation is going and touching each and every point ultimately. Thanks, Prashant and Ghazal. I'm sure they're just resounding the feelings of all the participants who are attending right now. Let me come to Sujata, and slowly let's move from physical intimacy to pure love. All of us are aware about what you say now. Our own ancient literature talks about Mira's love for Krishna. So I might not meet you, but still my love is extremely intense. It might not be physical, but it's pure form of loving somebody, even with a statue. And Dronacharya's teaching for Eklavya, I do not need Dronacharya. I can still be as much involved with him as a teacher. So Sujata, can you throw some light on from your book also, if you wish to, from going solo and all? There is a lot of time, no? One of the research says that 82% of human beings take a birth, live a life, and die. They do not experience pure love. It's only those 8% people who actually experience pure love from that other gender. And it could be same gender also. We are talking about LGBT community and also. Take us through your insight from your book. You have written book on romance also and relationship also. No? So when we talk about pure love, sexuality only or physical intimacy is only one part of it. There are much more angle to those two human beings, the way they treat and respect and probably understand each other. That what to say, adds up to the entire notion and feeling of warmth, love, care, and whatnot. So if you can take some of the pages of your book in which you touched upon in Going Solo or other books which you wrote on relationship and romance, because it's very, there is something which is very rare. As I'm telling you, research says 8% of us will experience pure love. And हमारे बॉलीवुड में तो गाना भी है कि हर किसी को नहीं मिलता यहाँ प्यार जिंदगी में है, वो जो प्यार है हम एक्चुअल प्यार की बात कर रहे हैं, और जो नियति ने बताया वो है वन टाइम म्यूचुअल कंसेंट एंड दिस एंड दैट.
अभी हम फिक्शन लिखते हैं, हम रियलिटी बेस्ड नहीं. दैट्स व्हाई वी राइट फिक्शन, you know. In fiction you can write and you can imagine anything.
Absolutely.
But to answer your question, you know, almost all the other my co-speakers have answered that very beautifully in their own ways, directly or indirectly, that love is ultimately freedom. It is being comfortable with yourself in the presence of your partner, you know, being your true self, showing that, even showing your vulnerabilities, showing your weaknesses. If you can do that and you still feel comfortable with the other person, and the other person is cherishing you, is accepting you as you are, I think there is not, you don't need, and of course respecting you, you know, for who you are, then I don't think so you need anything else other than that. Because what do you want ultimately in life? To be cherished, to be accepted as you are, to feel free to do, you know, how you want to do a stuff. Most of the fights happen because the other person, you have a particular way of seeing things, your partner has a different way of and that is also not your fault, you know, because you have had a different kind of you know, perhaps your childhood has been different, and the other person is has had a totally different experience. When two people come together, if and when the two of them accept them, each other and the way they are, and accept them as they are, I think you can't have any better situation than that. Problem happens when we try to you know, impose our values, our way of thinking into the other person and expect them to behave as we want them to behave, you know, as we want or feel happy about. So yeah, very briefly I can tell you about my fiction. You know, I've been exploring the whole idea. I've not come to a conclusion. So this topic is evergreen. You know, so many writers before me, and I'm sure many writers after me, even now, when I'm writing, several other writers are exploring the whole idea, the whole concept of love. What is love? So as far as I have grasped or understood, this is my understanding, which I just shared with you all.
Well said.
Going
Well said.
solo has nothing to do with love. Of course, love and compassion for your children and for yourself is some, yeah, of course, that is projected there. But most of the parents, single parents who shared their story, except for 3 or 4 who became single by choice, most of them have had tragic, you know, kind of breakups and divorce and separation. Yeah.
Agree with you. We have a comment from Ekta. Absolutely stimulating conversation and thoughts. Thanks to all in the entire panel for this. Thank you, Ekta. So what I will do, guys, is that we have less time, and I think we have already overshooted the time for interactive session. So now we are opening the floor open. We might have missed out a couple of topics which I thought we'll cover, but I think in a way, as a speaker, thanks to all 4 of you, you have covered in one of the rounds. I don't think we have missed out on anything, but. So let me open it for the audience to now participate with us and ask anything which comes to their mind. Let's start with one which was there in the chat, which talks about how to use dating app for kids. So Priyanka, if you can throw some light on that. I think somebody asked about how to use dating app for kids.
So we are an all-inclusive app, and everyone can be on it, and you can then select the kind of partner you want. Ideally, it would work best if you have a child, to find someone who also has a child, or someone who understands your situation or has a similar situation. Then it's easier to connect. But if you don't, then that's also all right. But so while there are apps out there for single parents, but what we've noticed is that when you create an ecosystem for everyone to be around, you never know who you might find there. You never know who you will vibe well with. So don't close yourself to that option. On the app, you can, you know, if you are looking for someone in your partner preference, so we empower users. Because I've been a dating app user myself, and I talk to singles every day, it's important that, you know, singles who use Sparkles feel that they are making the choice that they want to make, and they're not depending on technology to choose for them.
Mhm.
So you make your own choice, you select what you're looking for, and say, suppose I'm looking for something casual. Again, my benchmark of a partner for something casual might be different from
Correct.
when I'm looking for a long-term relationship partner. So
Absolutely.
you have the ability and the freedom to select the kind of partner you want on Sparkles for each mood that you are in. And then have specific experiences in that mood with that partner to let the relationship evolve, take its natural course, and then for you to decide what you want with them. So you have that
Great.
ability to select someone with kids, without
Mhm.
kids, divorced, single, whatever on the
Mhm.
app.
Mhm. In fact, what you're saying is right, Priyanka. Even we should take some time to understand this generation. Because, for example, I see that my son is least bothered about Facebook. We as a generation, it was a new kind of an excitement to be in Facebook as a digital, non-digital savvy individuals. So what you're saying is right. Even youth or kids are very conscious about whether to get into such apps or not because they don't know who all will be there in the dating app. So taking from there, let me just invite any one of you as a listener, Surbhi, Suhas, Amrita, anybody, you are open to ask any question to any of the panelists, or your question can also be open. Any of the panelists can feel comfortable and share the views. Yes, Suhas, you wanted to ask something. You have raised your hand.
Not asked, but I would like to thanks to my friend who sent me this invite.
Yes,
Actually,
Suhas.
I have been single for 4 years now,
Okay.
and I was searching for such a group. Uh, I have been
Mhm.
isolated myself this 4 years, and it's been a lot.
Oh,
So thanks to my friend. Actually, I met her in
mhm.
search of partner only, and then we became like a friend.
Very good.
So
Very good.
it's good.
So 4 years,
Thank you,
four
guys.
year is too much time, Suhas. You have kept yourself isolated. Please go out, take fresh air, meet this friend who has made you come out of the shell. And what you're saying is right, Suhas. A lot of us, na, as a male and so-called the way we have been preached that na so-called मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता और अपन सब isolate कर देते हैं ना ये this is actually in a way not a good sign. I belong to your generation. I can completely empathize and feel you. But actually, that approach is not right. We need to show our weakness. We need to cry in front of our kids and show them the real self. And rather than isolating, it's better that you come out. And I'm so happy that you came because of the friends giving you the link, and finally you attended the entire session. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you will now be more out and rather than being isolated. You're feeling good about the panel discussion. You felt that at least something
Yeah,
meaningful
yeah.
has come to you.
It's definitely good. It's definitely good, and
Where do you stay, Suhas, in
let's
Pune?
explore. So
In Pune, where do you
I
stay?
stay in Wakad. I stay
Wakad.
in
Okay,
Wakad.
that's great. So Pune, we have a lot of people in the singles engagement forum. And as Ketki was saying
Okay.
that, no, Ketika was saying that we'll connect you also with that group so that you can also be a part of
Yes.
that group. And just to tell you, there are such an amazing single mothers, no, they have this single parent and kids outing in this August holiday, which is coming long weekend. They are going to Manali somewhere. They create a curated,
Oh,
they
okay.
curate an entire travel plan so effectively that no single fathers, single mothers with the kids can go. And there are a lot of weekends meeting also they keep on doing, even salsa party and all these things. So you can actually now, since you have a friend whom you are comfortable with, please go out, meet other single parents, and I'm sure you'll feel much more comfortable. And thanks for appreciating the effort and saying that you actually liked it. Thank you so very much, Suhas.
Welcome, Vikram.
We have Prashant saying asking the question in the chat, how to keep an authenticity to fullest, being caught up in traditional Indian family structure and modern way of life. Prashant, how to be more authentic to the full and caught up in the traditional Indian family structure? Well, good question. I think what I came, what
I
I,
like the way Vikram is reading it again.
yeah, because what I can
Yeah.
get is that, for example, I got divorced, but a lot of my so-called immediate family members are not aware of, because so-called my elder generation do not wanted it to be disclosed. So I don't know. I'm just connecting. Probably he's talking about family structure and Indian style of thinking. Some of you would like to please throw some light how to keep
Yeah,
authenticity to the fullest and being.
I think I can go for it.
Yeah, please, Raj.
And maybe it's a small tip that I want to give.
Mhm.
Is most of the time we mistake being authentic with means I have to tell everything about myself.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, this is like a perception everybody has, but I say, like, go moment to moment. Are you hiding what you're truly feeling? You're with, let's say, a beautiful woman, and you're feeling a bit uneasy about the fact. Can you say that, hey, actually, I feel a bit uneasy because you really are beautiful? Another example is you're meeting a man and you're feeling a bit like a bit dominated, by the way he's saying things and all of that. And where do you have the strength to really say that, hey, I hear you, but I'm feeling a bit dominated right now.
Okay.
Being authentic is truly being authentic in the moment. Like in the moment when you are, can you have the strength to share what you feel? Yes, it also doesn't mean that if you're sensing a certain threat, in some cases that happens, maybe it's not a right time at that point of time to say what you really feel. Maybe it's a good idea at that time to actually escape from that situation. But being authentic in any moment, at that point of time, are you able to express what you're feeling? I feel that's the simplest way.
Very well said. Prashant, I hope this has given you some insight.
May I add a point?
Please,
Vikram?
Niyatii, go ahead.
Yes.
So that is exactly what authenticity means, being yourself and being able to express yourself. To answer his question, what is basically he's finding himself in a situation where the family is a very traditional Indian structure, and he himself has a different concept of how his dating life or his partner should be. So it's usually a pull for a man because the woman is coming into the house on a majority level. So now I want a wife who is outgoing, who's sexy, who's maybe working, but back home all this is not okay. Now what do I do? How do I be authentic in such a situation? So I think it's not an easy situation. I know that for sure. But at the same time, now is the time to be authentic, to tell your family, one, that this is how I want my partner to be. At the same time, we will respect the space we are in. But when we are on our own, we will be living a life the way we like it. So now striking this balance is what your authenticity will count as. This is where you'll have to express not only on the dating or to your partner, but also to your family. Let your partner know you have a family who believes in certain values and certain culture, and whether she's okay to be in that space. Or completely, I respect my family, but that's not the life I want to live. I'm going to have a settlement away from this settlement. That doesn't mean I'm away from you by heart. It's just that I would like to live a life differently than what we've lived all these years. So this is called being authentic, right? So with authenticity, there's a huge factor which is called courage. And that is what you need to have. Courage to speak out, courage to understand, courage to make decisions, and everything will fall into place.
And just to add, when Niyatii, you and Raj were sharing, Prashant, I'm just giving you my personal example. When I got divorced, my ex has two brothers in Hyderabad. My in-laws are from Hyderabad. And you won't believe, after divorce, I attended two marriages of my kids' mama side, the elder mama and younger mama. And when I went there, a lot of their relatives asked about my ex, saying that, how is she? I told she's fine. And they're not aware that we are divorced. So I think what Raj is saying is so, I have experienced. I did not always say. They have not been told, so why should I be saying? And they're just asking me, how is she? I told she's fine. Why she didn't come? She had a work. So we always do not have to be very open book everywhere, because there are some settings they might have done to patch up with that relationship, and they're still inviting me and my kids. And so if we are more, even in my family side, when I go or when I speak on telephone, they ask, how is she? I say she's fine, because she's fine. I did not, unnecessarily speaking till the time somebody is asking me direct questions. So Prashant, I think you have got a lot of input from Raj and Niyatii, me, and what we are all trying to say is that be authentic in that moment, and also understand a social fabric. Somebody might have told something about you just to preserve their relationship. I think Sujata also wants to add something before I come to Subhra's question.
Yeah, just a quick one. Being authentic also means being comfortable with yourself and making others around you comfortable with your situation. So just be very comfortable and accept the fact that you are uncoupled, divorced, whichever term you want to use. Just be comfortable with that fact. And then slowly around you also start making everyone around you comfortable with this whole situation. Start talking about it. The first thing that you must be doing to break that barrier or that hesitation that you have in your mind to show your true self is that you're not talking enough. Perhaps you should start talking about yourself and about your situation with others around you in a happy way.
Correct.
So that's about it.
Thank you for telling this, Sujata. Therefore, our tagline is, celebrating singlehood. So be it widows, be it separated, be it divorce, we all believe, I believe that it should be taken very, very positively. You might have a very not so very healthy way out when you broke the relationship. But since you're already single now, what you're saying is right. You should just accept what has happened to you and stay positive. There is a question from Subra which says that my question is it's been observed that women attach emotions with sex, whereas men do it just as a pleasure. Is it a myth? So I think we have a sexuality expert, Niyatii. I think you'd like to take it. Subra is asking a question like woman wants emotion also. They do not want to make it so practical. Men on the other hand want to just make it practical and go away. So is it a myth?
It's not 100% that every woman wants emotion and every man wants sex. Now, there is definitely a difference between how a man thinks and how a woman thinks. What were they offered since they were born? What kind of society, what were the rights they were allowed to, experience? So a lot is depending on where and how they were raised to begin with. I am going a little point deeper, but just to understand this. Most of the women are told about having a partner for the emotional reasons. He'll take care of you. Shah Rukh Khan has romanticized the whole, the whole love scene where he's supposed to sing songs for you, take you for dinners, vacations, gifts, and all of that. Women are more emotion sensitive. They have an emotional quotient which is higher, but that doesn't mean men don't have it. They just deal with it differently. Women are allowed to speak up whenever she's emotional. Men usually don't speak up. They kind of see a practical way either out of it or it's just like a way of life. So comparing these two, it's not like men are not emotional when they're in a relationship. They are emotional. It's not like women don't feel sexual when they're in a relationship. They do feel sexual. Because of all the conditioning of how the mind works, it is seen on a general platform. Women want more of emotions and men go straight for sex. There's a lot that we need to understand. Or ask the person or going. So if you are going to go with the notion that, oh, man, so even if he'll be trying to come close to you physically, maybe just hold a hand or maybe just give you a nice hug, you're already reaching to the point that, oh, he wants sex only. And then rather than going with the flow, who knows how beautiful this relationship could have been, you will stop it right there and then because of the blockages in the woman's mind, because of what the society has been telling you all over. So whether it is like that or not, I would like to bury it under the ground and say, go for it with the person you've connected, with the person you've liked, listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, listen to yourself, and then ask questions if you need to. Sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly, sometimes verbally, sometimes non-verbally. Know the person and then decide how it goes. But don't judge a person because of general observation that we've had, because you've not gone into understanding where all this has cropped from.
So we have a lot of questions coming up. So I think Raj and Suhas has also, not Raj, Suhas and Ajay has also raised their hand. But before that, we have a question being typed by Amrita. Amrita is asking, does a woman's innate sexual drive remains almost consistent through life or it gradually decreases or increases with age? Who would like to take? Raj. Please, Raj, go ahead.
So I think it's always like this, not just for a woman, but also for a man.
Men.
Depending on different triggers that you have, there are certain things that you like at a certain age and certain age you don't like. Okay, your preferences keep changing, and your drive is always result of three things. First, your state of health. Okay, this is something I really, really want to say. If you are not really healthy, the drive is going to be affected. Second, the kind of stuff that you you really do uh, just out of uh, just out of a certain sense of addiction. Like I feel that there's certain men who are addicted to porn, or there's certain women who are addicted to only a certain kind of touch, and in the absence of that, the drive increases and decreases. And third, and the most important part that I find is the drive is an expression of your perception. The more openness you have, the more healthier drive you have. The lesser openness you have, your drive will either peak too fast or peak too low. And the last part is it's a completely game of mental, emotional, and physical. So at any place you are unsettled, it is going to affect. So there is nothing called consistent. At least that's what I like to believe. But I think I want to also hear what Niyatii has to say, because she is really an expert in this.
So before I invite Niyatii to talk on this topic, there are some good comments coming for all the speakers. Great initiative. Thanks. Can we have an offline session? Can we also connect with the speakers? So with four of you permission, I will be sending a thank you mail by Monday to all the delegates who have registered. Couple of them could not attend because of their schedule and something came urgently. Can I share your email IDs in the delegate list so that they can connect with you? Mobile number is your choice because it's very personal to you. But if you four agree right now, I can tell Surbhi and all the others that we'll send the email ID. You send the email to the speakers, and if they want to share numbers, they will share, or they might like to be in email. So Surbhi, that is your answer. And thanks for appreciating their experience and their expertise. Gaurav, great. Raj and Niyatii, that's quite insightful. Thanks. Nihir, can anyone address an issue of a person being in a marriage for long? So before I take Nihir's question, I think before Nihir, two people have raised their hand, and before Niyatii also touches upon the question of Amrita, I think two people have raised their hand. Let me just invite them. Who has raised the hand? I think they would have got the answer. Just a request to the delegates, if you want to again
It was me, Vikram.
Suhas. Yes, Suhas, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this question.
Suhas, you are not audible. Again, just speak again. I think now we are able to hear you. Please continue. Start from beginning. Your question.
This is in regards to the earlier conversation, how the trend is going on now.
Correct.
Earlier, the thing was, if you are not dating someone, or if you're dating, they used to ask, "Oh, you're dating." Now the thing being asked, "Oh, you don't date anyone," or something like that. Now coming to the kids, right? What is the right age for these kids? Because now the kids who is going for the fifth or sixth standard, even they have this bullying going on, right? Oh, you are not loving someone, or you are not liking someone. And being a parent, it becomes very hard whether to be a strict or whether to be not too strict.
Agree,
So
Suhas.
I
I think
really do not know.
in the beginning, I think some of the speaker, if I'm not wrong, Sujata or Niyatii, has spoken about what is the right age to create awareness to your kid. But yes, anybody would like to take this? No, as a father, he doesn't know whether he should talk this thing with the child. He might be
No, I
experiencing it.
talked about.
Mhm.
It's not
So
only about the talk,
you
but
are
the
asking
kids.
which age? You are asking which age? What to talk as an adult?
Yeah,
Correct?
not that particular question. I mean, we normally talk, and I talk freely. But the thing is, it's after all, it's the kids, and they think that like they are the best. Who
It's a
knows
peer
best?
pressure and all. You are saying
So
that the child is under peer pressure.
yeah.
She doesn't have a boyfriend, or he doesn't, and the kids are talking about this in the campus or in the school. Hello.
Yeah,
So
he's
So, yes, was.
so whether what is we should allow them to be free, or with the flow. I
Acha,
heard this question from, I was in US last like 10 years, and it was really fun. My manager, who was a US citizen, he came and told me his daughter is asking, when should I date?
Okay, okay. I think somebody would like to take it. Niyati, can you start?
Yeah.
And he told, at least 2 years you cannot. That
Yeah.
time it was sounding very.
So
Okay,
Swaz,
Suhas,
Niyati is throwing some light. Yep.
we can't hear you clearly because of some network issue. I hope you can hear us while we are talking. What is the age of your child?
11 years.
11.
I have two
So
kids, 11 years and 13 years.
13. All right. So everything sex education, sexuality education completely depends on, one is the age of the child and then the situation. All right. Or if there is a question or a comment or something like that. At 11, you can say, when would you like to date? I'm just very randomly, very spontaneously talking to you. Have a very fun-filled conversation with them. When would you like to date? Is there somebody you are, you want to go out with, you want to spend time with? Because at 11, it is possible that the attraction has already begun. She already has a crush. She or he, the child has already a crush on somebody. They are, shying away. They are blushing. They want to go close to them. That is a possibility. So one, inquire first, where do they stand? What do they want to do? Rather than again putting it on a general platform, like what is the age we can allow our children to date? Giving them some leeway of and some permission to like somebody will be a great start. At the end of the day, at 11, if we keep telling them, you're very small, this is not your age to do all this is not what you should be, focusing on, focus on your studies, you will be, in a way, pushing the child away from you, and the child may not come back to you to talk about these topics again. So one, ask more questions, smile, sit down, do some, continue doing something. Don't make it a very awkward situation. Okay, now come sit. I have to talk to you about this. Don't do that. Whatever you're doing, continue doing that. Have a conversation. If your 13-year-old is asking, there might be some peer pressure involved. So question on that front also. A 13-year-old, 15-year-old, they definitely want to go out. They'll ask you, maybe I can go to Starbucks, I'll go to the party with him, he can come and pick me up or drop me, either of the ways. So understand how fast they are moving, or is it just a concept in their head? So the more you inquire, the more confident you will feel, okay, I have to lead my child from here on. So if a child is saying, when can I start dating? You can always say that you can start dating as soon as you can take care of yourself. You can travel by your own. You understand what a relationship means. You know what are the safety measures you can take. So give them like few things to understand that once you're ready with this, you can date.
Correct.
You're getting, Suhas? I hope you've heard me. So again, depending on the age of the child, even there's a huge difference even between 11, 13, and 15 of how your conversation should go. Now, these are the tough conversations you're supposed to have, right? As a father or as a parent for that matter. Yeah. So first inquire and then lead it from there. Give them baby steps. Don't straight away talk about, oh, do you know what can happen if you go out? Oh, are you chatting with this person, on a social media platform? Oh, do you know how dangerous it is? Rather than putting a stop to something that they're feeling the pleasure or they're feeling good about, they're not going to stop feeling good any which ways. They'll just keep you away. So begin from wherever you've understood where the child is, and then give them baby steps to go ahead.
Suhas, Sujata would also like to add something. Yes, Sujata. You have to unmute.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So what I did with my son was this, that, every time he was interested in a girl, and he didn't really mention date, but that was where he was going. So I said, okay, let's do this together. I will come with you. I will drop you somewhere at a cafe or wherever of their choice, and I will have a friend with me. So it will be sort of a double date. I will be there somewhere supervising them, keeping an eye on them, and letting them have their chat or whatever together. And then they would part. And there were other times when I would invite this friend of his to home and then have a nice get together or something. This is very slowly, that is how. So he is 18 now, my son is 18, and he's in a relationship with a girl, he's dating a girl who's also 18, and for the past couple of years now. But he started showing interest in girls when he was 15, I think.
Okay.
And so from then on, this is what I have been doing. I've been accompanying him, not really imposing my presence on them, but supervising them.
Supervising.
Yeah.
Great. I think there's a lot of.
But have a
Yeah.
lot of communication. It's very important to, like Niyatii rightly pointed out, to ask them what is it they are looking for. Why do they want to? What is it? Is it the fun part? What is it that they are interested in? And get the idea. Where are they heading? What is it that they want? So that you are in, and not like an interrogator, but like a friend. Like a parent friend. It is important to keep this in mind, that you are still the parent. You are not the friend. You are, and you will always be the parent, but in a friendly manner. So that is something that I wanted to share.
We have
Yeah.
one more question.
Thanks, Sujata, and
Thank you, Suhas. Very valid question for all the parents. I think you asked a question which all of us wanted to get a view on. Nihir is asking one question in the chat saying that, can anyone address an issue of a person being in marriage but standing alone and lost in life at a certain point? Okay. I think anybody would like to take it? Can anyone address an issue of a person being in marriage but standing alone and lost in life at a certain point? So he's married or she's married, but a stage is come in which that this person, married man or a woman, is finding himself or herself standing alone and lost.
Yeah, so I can help him
Please.
with whatever knowledge and understanding I have so far of dealing with one such case. During one of my talk therapy sessions, I had, I'm still counseling him, this person who was in a marriage, but he wasn't happy. And he has 2 grown-up daughters. The wife left him midway. For 3-4 years, she stayed away from them, from this family. And then she came back just before COVID happened, the lockdown happened. She came back, and now they are again. Otherwise, he's fine with her, but there is nothing going on in their life. He's not really happily married, so to say. Now, what is he doing? Now, what is the few things that I could suggest to him was that, one, find groups or a support system where he can openly be himself, because he is not himself in his house. He's always feeling suffocated, and he's always pretending to be this happy father and happy husband, but he's not so. Secondly, I also suggested that perhaps start very small, but start taking steps and informing his better half that there are issues, there are problems, and they need to discuss that, because the wife at the moment is completely closed. She is not listening to him. She's there for him. If you see superficially, they have a good life, but deep within, he is not happy. He's lost. And so they need to speak. They need to come to a stage where they can open their hearts and speak out what are the issues that they are facing. And then he should be also, these are some of the suggestions that I've given him. He should also be ready to, take the consequences. Right now, he's okay. He does, because of his children, because of his daughters, he's just left it at that. Ki theek hai, bachcho ke liye, I will adjust. But then he has to accept and acknowledge in his mind also that this thing is not working. I need to speak up, resolve it. If it doesn't gets resolved, then we have to take certain actions which will benefit, because at the moment he's extremely anxious. He has been taking medication which is not helping, and all those So
very well said, Sujata. I think we have only 5 minutes left, and we have one question which has come from Prachi. She, as I told you in the beginning, that she's a college-going delegate, and she's asking how to detach from someone emotionally who is no longer a part of your life, and how to lose the hope of them not coming back. So Prachi, if I've understood, it's more about a love life, not a married life. You're talking about two people are
Yes,
in love with each
exactly.
other, you know, and
Yes.
then you are not able to come out emotionally because of that intensity of the love, and how to lose
Yes.
the hope of them not coming back. Okay, how to detach.
Exactly.
जैसे ब्रेकअप का सॉन्ग आया था ना, वो ब्रेकअप को एंजॉय करो वाला, लेकिन एंजॉय करना बोलना अच्छा है गानों में, लेकिन कई बार इमोशनली यू आर सो मच into that person that you cannot come out of that relationship. So who would like to take? Raj, I think you can start.
Sure. To be very candid, I don't have a remedy, to be very honest with you, Prachi. But let me tell you that this is something which happens with time. That's something which truly happens. But there are a few things I will recommend. One is do more journaling. Journaling really, really helps processing your difficult emotion. We are never taught the skill of processing. And most of the time, we linger in our heads because we allow the energy to just keep moving here. And it's something that even I have struggled with personally. Like there's somebody who was very, very close to me, and I still think of her fondly, but thankfully now that kind of negative attachment style is kind of over. But what really helped is a lot of journaling. So something which I highly, highly recommend. Journaling helps. The second thing which also helps is not discussing it too much with people who are going to constantly keep giving you more and more views about it. I know it sounds sometimes anti. Yes, when the breakup is new and you want to talk, you seek out therapists, you seek out friends. But when a lot of time has passed, sometimes talking about it actually recreates the whole phenomenon for you. But the third and the simplest way is ask yourself a question: do you really love yourself? And if you really stay with this question, I think slowly you find a way to come out. Because it's an expression of not loving yourself enough. That's what I could say. When you truly fall in love with yourself and you claim yourself, you know that, well, the other person maybe missed the bus. It's about what you feel about your own deservings in life. So these are the 3 pointers I think I can share, but no fixed remedy. I'm ready, sir.
Prachi, hope this is helping you.
I would like to say something
Niyatii,
here,
please.
Prachi. Yeah. So, Prachi, when you are an emotional person and when somebody else is not putting that emotion into a relationship, you see the lack of it. But there was something about this person that you kind of hooked yourself onto, and that person is not there with you in that space of emotions with you. And now you're wondering, he or she is gone. Will they come back? They'll not come back. I'm in the hope, but I don't want to stay in this hope because it's killing you. What I would say is recognize how that person made you feel. What was the feeling that you received from this person? Rather than having the person back, get the feeling back. That feeling can be in forms of activities. It could be a form in a different person. I would say always recognize the feeling, or what was that lack that you were kind of filling in. Was it that nobody loved you before? You felt loved with this person? There will be other people who love you, and there are many, many other people who love you. At the same time, look for filling your self-love by yourself, which Raj was mentioning, self-love. We use these words very casually because we understand them. But sometimes people who've not heard these words don't understand how to love your own self. I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing everything. I'm pampering. But that's not what we mean when we say self-love. You literally have to fall in love with yourself. And yes, we are not trained how to, but you can always reach out, right? So look for that feeling that you want back in your life and work on that. Leave the person who is not, he or she came, gave you that experience, and now they are gone. They don't have it anymore to give it to you. So don't look back to like, how can I have this person back? Look for the feeling and have that feeling back for you.
Excellent. Prachi, Sujata also wants to add something.
Prachi, just to add to what the other speakers have shared, if you look up talk therapy, I guess you will get your answer there. There is a concept called the TEB cycle in talk therapy. So the thoughts are the culprit. Our thoughts are the culprit. They impact our emotions, and you feel how you're feeling, what you're describing, and the emotions result in a particular behavior. So if you have to check the behavior, you have to ultimately check your thought. And in talk therapy, you understand how to restructure your thought. Any negative thought that is impacting and making you feel in a negative manner, once you restructure that thought, that intensity of the negative emotion goes down and your behavior automatically is corrected. So please look up talk therapy, and in case you want to, consult or come separately, connect with me separately, you can do that as well.
Thank you, Sujata. Jay has raised the hand. Hi, Jay. How are you? Good to see you. Yes, Jay. Your voice was echoing. No, actually, your voice is not coming clearly, Jay. It's
Am I
echoing.
audible now?
Yes, Jay. Yes. How are you, Jay?
Yeah, fine, Vikram. I actually had joined late.
Okay.
Is it possible to share the transcript of this conversation?
Yes. We will be sharing the link because we have recorded this,
lovely.
because many people had some work and they told we are missing this panel.
Yeah,
We wanted to listen them out. So
I reached home at 8 o'clock, so I couldn't
I
join.
know. You also normally has a hectic day. So with the request of Sujata, Priyanka, Niyati, and Raj, if you guys allow, can I share the link with the audience later on? Because many could not attend because of Mumbai rains and they could not reach on time. Can I
Sorry,
share the
I
link?
missed that. What are you saying?
Absolutely.
Actually, with your permission, as Jay has reached just now from his office because of rains and office hours, can we share the recording link with the audience, with the delegates who have registered? Because
Yes,
many could not
absolutely.
come because of the rains and office.
Sure.
Thank you so very much. So Jay, you and others will also receive the link. So now, since we are
Please.
almost to the fag end of the panel, and Jay, definitely you must see the video, because even I will see whenever I want to, because there is a lot of learning which the panelist has helped us. I think in the chat I can see only thank you mail or thank you messages from all the participants, thanking all of you for your time and valuable input. You guys have covered all the questions. And coming to one question of Amrita, actually it was there in my head, which Raj has very aptly answered. Amrita, a lot of my friend circle who actually see that the sexual pleasure and all is not up to the level what it used to be in the initial days of marriage or pre-marriage. They do, consult people like Niyatii or Sujata or Raj or Priyanka to get an idea about what else can we do to ensure that the excitement level and the warmth and compassion and the feeling of love continues to be in the increasing order. So there are many things which in India we do not talk about. But believe me, these are the experts who can actually give you a lot of time. There are stages in which you need to little bit spice it up. And probably, as Raj rightly told, you have to communicate with each other and see what can actually, just going for a candlelight dinner after long can also be a very good way to, spice it up and get that emotion back. Because of life, kids and all, sometimes it becomes a problem that you're missing the spark. Sometimes they will suggest go for a class together, learn some hobby which is mutually agreed upon, so that you get more time to go back to an era or a time in which you used to feel that spark. Yes, Amrita, you were saying something.
Yeah, so no, I mean, I completely agree with what you're saying here. But I also want to ask about a person's. It's not about maintaining the spark in the relationship, but about a person's innate desire. Let's say one person has a very high sexual drive, the other has a very low sexual drive.
Okay.
Then the person who has a high sexual drive, does that drive remain the same throughout life? Or does it actually decrease with age, especially for women after pregnancies? What I've heard. Yeah.
Good. Very good question. I think who will take it? Niyati? It's very good question.
Can I answer this?
Yeah, please. Who's answering?
Yeah, I am in. I have been in and out with a friend of mine, and the libido of hers has dropped, and maybe it's the menopause phase or something, but the relation is strongly affected before this. So it's that if you're strongly connected with that person, you can allow that passage of time and still hold your hands together. So I don't know, it's a very subjective situation.
That's great, Jay. Good that you have given the live example. Niyatii, you'd like to add?
Yes. So Amrita, libido also is very fluid. And as Raj had mentioned earlier, there are a lot of factors because of which you will either feel extremely high or you will feel there will be a low or a fall at some point in time. Libido is not just a physiological thing to look into. The hormones that we talk about, the release of hormones, there are always triggers which either will keep you there or will give you a drop. But to answer your question, it is observed during menopausal stage because there is, or after a surgery sometimes when the uterus is removed, or there is some ovaries are removed, breast cancers. There have been medically these phases where women do have a drop in their hormonal levels and the desire levels too. Now, is it true again for everybody? No, it's not. So every time we read about something which is on a general platform, which is for majority of the people, I am requesting on this platform once again, do not take that as the thumb rule. Always see that there is always a possibility, and if you want to make it happen, it will. Sometimes you just have to realize what the triggers could be, or what are the new ways that you may feel more aroused or more close to your partner. What are the different activities? Maybe you're bored of it all this while. Suddenly you'll feel, oh, because of menopause, I am having a drip. No, it may just be that I'm so bored of this style. I just want something new now. I want something different. Usually after 40, 45, women, they do somehow, we've observed that they do come out of their cocoon, they're done with their children are grown up, household is kind of taken care of. They start thinking about themselves. They want to look younger, they want to feel younger. So there is a different side of her which wants to be sexual, but at the same time, there could be a physiological side of her which may not support her. So just being open, exploring will definitely help her. So to answer your question in short, we have seen a drop at certain stages when they're growing up, 40, 45 plus, but at the same time, it can be reversed. You can come back into the game. It just depends on how you understand yourself and how you take it up from there. And sometimes physiological tablets, medicines, that also help.
Correct. Very good, Niyatii. So, Amrita, hope you got a lot of inputs. And Prachi, are you there, Prachi?
Vikram, I'm sorry I have to come in here. I have a meeting and I have to leave.
Only 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes. We are just winding up. So,
Okay.
Prachi, I requested you to. I just wanted to tell you that in Singles Engagement Forum tomorrow in New Bombay we have a talent show open mic at 5 p.m. Since you stay in New Bombay, you can think about coming. And a lot of singles are presenting a lot of their own writings in the form of poetry, and there is a singing. It's more of a talent show. So since you stay in New Bombay, and anybody who's in Mumbai, I'm just inviting. Tomorrow we have a open mic in which a lot of singers will be performing their own talent. Many of them are first timers, beatboxers, storytellers, and poetry and stand-up comedy. In the month of August, we are doing one panel discussion, which I will be reaching out to all of you. It's a live program in Mumbai on art of single parenting and life after second marriage. So we'll be posting you with all this, but I think it's already 9:30, 9:40. So we have already taken 40 minutes more than what we expected. I think thanks a ton from the bottom of my heart and all the delegates. Everybody is already typing in the chat, and all of you can see as a panelist, as a speaker, that they just loved it, the way you guys conducted this panel discussion and shared your views. I'll be sharing email IDs of all the 4 panelists to all of you through email. You can connect with them and do take personal help wherever you feel like. So thanks a ton, Raj from Pune, Niyatii from Mumbai, Sujata from Delhi, and Priyanka from Washington, USA. Thanks a ton for giving your time. Means a lot for all of us. And thank you so very much.
Thank you. It was really nice being here.
Thank you.
It's really lovely, Vikram. And thank you for the curious questions. And I think I really enjoyed it. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vikram. Thank you, Raj, Sujata, Priyanka, and
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Good
you
night,
so much.
India
Thank
time. And Priyanka, good morning, US time.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Kavita. Thank you, Nipa. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.